Welcome everybody. Welcome to a Witchcast episode 4. Today we got two new people. One being a new member of the main cast, Xena. Say hello.
How you doing, everyone?
And our special guest is Rav. I actually don't know how to say your main alias. How do you say it, Rav?
I just Rav. But yeah, hello. I'm Rav.
Uh, well, that's actually as smooth as our intros go. Actually,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
I know I use the alias Rav Rose, but that's mostly like my gamer tag. Rav is more of my art tag.
yeah. I met you as like Rav. I think I met you years ago when I became friends with Sierra. I had a contest, and I think you were involved with it, kind of. It was like way back when I had like three aliases
Hmm.
ago. I think I was like Axel Hawkins at the time.
Hmm. Maybe I don't know. You'd have to remind me of the content of the content.
It was like a white and blue fox character paired with a skunk. Something I don't know.
It's
Ancient history.
possible. It's possible.
Ancient
That's all I'm
history.
gonna say.
Uh, so wow, doing podcasts is like really awkward. So so I guess to start things off, what's the weirdest thing you guys did all week? Let's start with Rav.
The weirdest thing I've
Yeah.
done. This is a great opener.
Oh yes.
Weirdest thing I've done all week. That is, I feel so boring because I really don't, I can't think of anything I've done that's particularly weird. I've just kind of been really lame and dull. I either been watching stuff, playing stuff, or drawing stuff. Um,
Anything weird that happened at least, or just this is just your basic run the mill boring week.
I think the weirdest thing I had to deal with this week was the neighbors' kids, like tiny little kids, were climbing up on top of their giant truck's roof, and I was the only one who apparently noticed. So I opened up like the window blinds to kind of keep an eye on them when I was doing some dishes in the kitchen. And this kid is probably like 2 years old. He's very small, little tiny kid, and he's like on top of this big old like SUV truck, and they have like those like kind of bar rails on top. I usually when like you store something on top of your truck, it's for like holding those in place. So like this kid is basically like just walking around, jumping around on top of this truck, which is covered in bars that he can really just trip over. And I'm like, where are the parents? And so I kind of kept an eye on them, and they had other siblings come out, and they started doing it. I'm like, oh my god, this is not going to end well. So I kept an eye on them for a minute. I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna watch, just to be, just to be sure they're gonna be okay. And then the little one, like for whatever reason, started dangling off like the back corner of the truck. Like he started climbing down, and he's like barefoot, and so he's like hanging on the top of the roof, and his feet are sticking to the back window of the truck. He's trying to climb down, but he's like so small. He's like so small, a kid that like he can't, like he's too scared to like drop and let down because it's still really high for him. So this little kid is basically just like with his hands like just kind of sticking to the roof, just dangling off the side of this truck in the back corner. And I'm like, oh great, here it comes. I got to go out there and help this guy. So I had to walk out, and he started to cry a little bit. I'm like, I'm coming, I'm coming. And I went over there, I grabbed him, and I picked him up, and I set him down on the ground. Like, you guys should really not be doing this. This is not going to be good. That's probably the weirdest thing I've had to deal with this week, which isn't like a really weird story, but saving
That's
small children from falling to their death off a truck roof is, I guess,
that's
not the
very
norm.
weird. That's
Yeah,
that's
they're pretty noisy kids. It's a family across the street from us, and they've got like three kids. They're all pretty small and young, and they're like the screamy outdoorsy kids. So like always out there outdoors playing together and just screaming bloody murder. So I don't know. I think the parents are like, oh, it's the boy who cried wolf situation, where like they're always screaming bloody murder. So the parents are just used to it. So they never actually know when their kids are in danger, which is anxious.
because they're just all tired out from the first couple times you just check on. It's like they're just being fucking
Yeah,
jackass kids.
basically, it's just like they always make that screeching little screaming noise all the time. So how do you really know when they're actually getting hurt or when they're actually like in trouble? So I'm like, yeah, nobody showed up. I'm like, this kid was literally dancing on the roof of this truck for like 10 minutes, and I like before like his other sibling came up there and started doing it with them, and they started dangling me off the roof. I had to go save them. But yeah, no parents the whole time. They were home because I did eventually see them come out, but I don't think they even realized their kids were up there.
They're
So
probably
I'm like,
like either
"Ugh."
like napping or just like sitting on the couch watching TV or something.
Maybe, I don't know. So yeah, that was my weird experience of the week. Saving small children from falling to their death. That was my experience.
All right. What about you, Zeno? What happened with you? What's the weirdest thing that happened about you?
Let's see. Not so much weird today or throughout the week, really. Really, it was my first week back at work from a pretty good vacation, to be honest. Hung out with friends, family, all that good stuff. You know what I mean? Um, did go out today to get some stuff and whatnot. But I guess the weirdest thing that happened to me, since I live in New York City, you never know what's going to happen whenever you go out.
Yeah, weird as a
So
norm.
basically, if it's in New York, you know you're in the right place. Basically, um, but after coming out of this bookstore that I often go to, in fact, this is the fourth time I've gone within the last month, really. So I've been going there almost nonstop. Just
To
to,
to a bookstore?
yeah, it's a Japanese bookstore called Kinokuniya. Has a whole lot of good stuff and whatnot. A lot of
So you go, they're getting like manga or something.
No, no, but I do often go there to get my art books, stuff like that. Some Japanese exclusive art books at that as
Oh,
well.
so you go there for
Magazines.
like
Cool.
for art references and shit.
Yeah, pretty much how you call it. They do have a lot of interesting manga in original Japanese. So seeing the covers on some of these books are just absolutely amazing. Some of them being holographic, colored, all that stuff. Compared to what we get normally, sometimes it's just a mystery trying to figure out what the heck this book is. Because sometimes I want to look, later on. But I found some really nice treasures and whatnot over there. Today I went there to pick up something for my sister. Actually, I don't know if you're aware of these squeak toys. Um they're pretty loud. They stick their tongue out when you squeeze them and whatnot. I fucking love them. Um, so I had found them a couple weeks ago, and I got my one for myself. So since I was already downtown, I was heading in that direction. I got one for my sister, and luckily for me, they have one in the shape of a unicorn. So now she has one that she can actually love double time.
Nice.
But it was coming out of the bookstore. The bookstore faces this park, Bryant Park, right across the street. Pretty big park. I actually went there for ice skating once in high school. Almost busted my ankle then. Um, and it was my first time ice skating too, but that's a whole different story, honestly. Um, and all I hear in the wind is the sound of bagpipes. I'm wondering what the heck is going on. Next thing I know, there's a Scottish event going on. They're all dressed up and killed bagpipes, drummers, all this stuff, and it was absolutely amazing, honestly. And personally, I really do enjoy the Scottish people in all aspects. To be honest, something
Yeah.
about them is just it's it's like it's like magical to say the least and whatnot. Um, it doesn't
I,
help either that
I love the Scottish people too, but I don't think this is the first time I've ever heard of them referred to as magical.
I don't really know how to describe it, but there's
Yeah.
a certain love that I have for their culture, their
Yeah.
accent, everything about it and whatnot. I would love to visit Scotland whenever I do end up visiting the UK or Europe in general, since I do have a number of friends that are out there, which is a common theme where all my friends are everywhere but in New York. Aside from a couple good friends that I met for the first time in person a couple weeks ago for my birthday. But but yeah, and it doesn't help either that with the announcement of Pokemon Sun and Moon, all the memes that came out of it, and it just rekindled that love tenfold. To be honest, there's something, there's something, there's something amazing about English slang over there in Scotland and in Britain, in Great Britain, all that stuff. Just the norm that we would normally have here in the States or wherever you're from and whatnot. Everything over there is like it's just something else. But then again, that could be the same for any culture out there. To be fair.
Uh,
Yeah. Yeah.
Have you seen that one Pokemon Flash I retweeted about a week or two ago, Zena? The one that's like poking fun at the fact that it's like set in England.
I think so, but then again, I've seen a lot of memes for Sun and Moon making fun that it's England and whatnot.
We mean Sword and Shield.
Yeah. See, I think it's somewhere in the server actually.
Yeah.
Mm,
I haven't been personally keeping up on a lot of this stuff, but I do enjoy seeing all the ridiculous meme and artwork of and making fun of that. I saw one. I don't know where it was posted. It might have been in Discord, but it was just like, "Get out of the fucking ball, you." I was like, "Yes, this is great."
There are a couple comics that involve the female trainer and Sabo that I absolutely adore. Very wholesome, but just absolutely hilarious. As well as the one Twitter user who voiced some comics as well with an absolutely authentic Scottish accent, and when it was just glorious, honestly.
I am looking forward to it. I feel like 90% of the people, though, like we said before, are gonna ghost the bunny though when they start playing that shit.
Yeah, but then again, when is that ever different? Almost every generation, most people go for the fire type. Me, I always go for either the grass or the water type, and I think the last three generations since Snivy, I went grass type. So Sabo's gonna be my first time water type this time.
I feel like it was kind of the popular was kind of split last game because like it was either like a lot of people like Linton, but also a lot of people really like oh what was the water types the first form I can't remember.
Oh, Poplio.
Yeah, and then a lot of people also like Rowlet, so it was like evenly split honestly.
It really was. The split didn't really die off until the final evolutions came out, and everyone was like against Incineroar. But to me, he'll always be Beltigre in my heart.
Oh yeah. Right. So we kind of got sidetracked. Rav, how did you start out? Like, obviously you probably started on DA like everybody else, right?
Let's see, DA. Jesus. I think I probably did start out on DA. I think the first time I ever posted artwork online was probably DA. I think. I know that there were websites that I would constantly go to view other artists' artwork, but I don't recall ever posting my own there at the time. I think DA. I think DA was the first place I ever posted.
I feel that's
I don't
like
know.
I feel like it's like a lot of people these days, honestly. Like so far, we've only had one guest who didn't start on DA, and that was of course Becky, who says she started on Fan Art Central. I think it was,
Yeah.
which I
I don't know.
never
I
heard
just
of.
didn't have a lot of connections to other artists or groups in the community back then. I just kind of I was like, oh, I like this artist's work, but I don't really know them, so I didn't really have kind of like a real way in, or I don't know, like a real connection to any particular site. And DA was just kind of like, oh, it's the place where you put your artwork on the internet. It's just like where everyone went. So yeah, I think I posted artwork on there in the very beginning for at least a little while. I couldn't say exactly how long. Again, I'm not like one who memorizes like the exact date and time, but yeah, I definitely think DA was the first couple bits of artwork I put up. It was really slow at first, admittedly. Back then, posting artwork wasn't like my general, what I did as often. But I think DA was the first one. I can distinctly remember a couple pictures that I did way back when, and I'm pretty sure I put up on DA. But this is freaking, I don't even know how long ago, 15, 16 years ago.
So you've been around 16 years, or have you been around before that? Did you do a couple of years when you just didn't do art, and then you got art like years
No,
later?
I've been, I have been drawing since I was 4.
Oh
When
god.
it came to actually posting artwork on the internet, I could be wrong. I could have been longer than that. It could have been sooner than that, for all I remember. I remember when I first started posting artwork. It must have been when I was in high school, I think. So, and I graduated in 2004. So somewhere in the 2002, 2003, 2004 area, that's probably where about I started posting artwork online for the first time, I think. So a good while ago.
So you've been in the fandom about 16 years, 20 years?
I've been in the what?
The fandom for about 16, 20 years then?
Oh no. I've been in the fandom since the beginning. Since I was 4 years old playing Sonic 1 on my Genesis.
Well, that answers my next question. So your first game was actually the first game.
Yes, I'm pretty sure the first video game I probably ever played was Sonic 1.
Same, actually.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I couldn't say again. I don't remember a damn. I'm not. It's funny. I remember 4. I don't remember anything before 4. But I couldn't even tell you like when and where I got the Genesis. It just I had one and I played. Yeah, I had the whole where the Sonic 1 came with the Genesis. It had like not for resale on the freaking like box, and yeah, that was the first game I think I ever played, like ever. Like 4 years old, Sonic 1.
Back when Nintendo and Sega had like a rivalry with each other.
Yeah. I not gonna lie, I don't particularly hate Mario, but I was of the generation who was like, oh screw Mario, I like Sonic, or like I like Mario, screw Sonic. But I was a Sega boy, so
I was kind of both. I couldn't choose. Like I enjoyed both.
I was totally Sega. I was Sega all the way. I had the Genesis, I got the Saturn, I got the Dreamcast, I got the Game Gear. I was like, screw Nintendo. I like Sonic.
Oh, I pissed both sides off because they would ask me, "Oh, what do you choose, Sonic or Mario?" I goes, "Neither. They both suck. Mega Man's better."
I do like Mega Man too. If I had to choose one, I would pick Sonic over Mega Man. But I do like Mega Man, especially the X series, is one of my fondest games. Playing Mega Man X.
I feel like X
There's
is like
only room for one blue boy in this town, isn't there?
It's funny. I've got like a Mega Man and a Sonic. They have these little thing called like Pixel Pals, which are like these little
Those
like
sounds
pixel
familiar.
block. It's like a little it's like a standing like lamp, like a little light. It's like a pixel shape of a cutout of the old pixel art from the games, and you put batteries in it, and you just like turn on it.
Oh
and it
yeah,
lights up.
I'm googling them right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah, I've got the Mega Man and the Sonic one, and so I got both those blue boys lighting up. Ironically enough, though, the Sonic one, for whatever reason, I don't know why they designed it this way, but he's like very purple instead of blue. Like he's got a very purplish tone to his like what they made the thing out of. So I thought that was kind of weird.
Yeah, wasn't his sprite a lot darker compared to the later sprites in the Genesis era?
Yeah, I posted
Yeah.
in our podcast channel.
Yeah, his sprite changed quite dramatically throughout the first couple of games. The first one and the first one compared to the rest was a huge difference.
Posted in chat for people who in the Twitch chat who want to see what it looks like in case they've never seen it before.
Yeah. See, in that picture, it looks so much bluer than it actually is. I swear, it's more purple than the blue. But yeah, that's exactly it. I have that one and the Mega Man one. So I dug that.
Mario one looks okay.
But yeah,
Oh, Mario
so-
one looks kind of orangish now that I actually look at it.
Yeah, he's a bit of a tan guy, yeah. But yeah, going back to the question, yeah, Sonic 1 on the Genesis as a 4-year-old, that was the beginning of it all, right then and there.
Those were good times.
Yeah.
I don't know. My friends at school never really had like a debate with each other. It was like who was better. We didn't really care. We just played the same fucking 4 video games. It was just Sonic, Mario, Mega Man, and Donkey Kong Country.
Yeah.
Back when SNES was a thing.
Yeah. I played. I didn't own a Super Nintendo, but my cousin did, and I would visit them often, and we'd often play like Donkey Kong Country. That's actually where I first played Mega Man. Was on my cousin's Super Nintendo. I fell in love with that game. Definitely one of my top games of all time.
That game was brutal when you started out too. Starting
yeah.
off and the boss has like fucking 8 times your health.
Yeah, any Mega Man game, especially as a little kid. Oh my god, good luck beating any kind of Mega Man game as a little kid. But yeah, just loved it so much. So yeah, I still once in a while go back and play Mega Man X every once in a while.
There's not a day where I don't play it on my stream.
Or any other Mega Man game for that matter.
Fight me.
That's fine. I think Mega Man's a great series.
As for me, I wouldn't be able to experience the original ways to play these games. I actually got to play them on their later iterations. Like, for example, I used to play Donkey Kong Land on Game Boy Color back when Blockbuster was still renting out Game Boy Color games back in the day. My first introduction to Mega Man X was Mega Man Extreme for the Game Boy, and I wouldn't be able to play the first 3 Genesis games until Sonic Mega Collections on PS2, actually.
Mega Collections was a nice throwback.
But
Yeah.
to also answer the question now, my first Sonic game, at least the first owned Sonic game that I had and played from start to finish, was actually the PS2 version of Sonic Heroes.
Really?
Oh
But I
god.
have played other games before then. Like, I used to play the OG Sonic Adventure 2 on the Dreamcast with my neighbor who lived above me. And I believe I also played some of the handheld at the time. I believe it was Sonic Advance 2. That was the one that introduced Cream, wasn't it?
Oh yeah.
Um,
Sonic Advance 2 is a great game.
But yeah, my first actual owned Sonic game of all time was actually Sonic Heroes for PS2. And
I
I
still
kind of went on a general bender of getting most of the Sonic games that most of the community actually doesn't really hold high regards for, ironically. And yet I love them for what they are, just for the good time that I had with them.
Yeah.
Like, for example, after getting Sonic Heroes, I believe I got Shadow next, and along the way I purchased Zero Gravity, which is one of the only racing games that I really own, for that matter. And when it came to handheld, aside from Sonic Rush, which was a game that I absolutely adore to high heavens for soundtrack, aesthetics, everything like that, one of the more infamous handheld Sonic games that I will come to own, and I'm glad that I do own it, despite the controversy behind it, give or take, was Sonic Chronicles: The Dark Brotherhood.
that game was only good when that came out, but nowadays, if you look at it now, you're like, what is this traffic mess?
It's definitely a mess and whatnot, and I would not want anyone to listen to Green Hill Zone at all from that game. Out of every soundtrack there is, that's probably the most cursed song in that entire cartridge. And even though the songs are heavily bit crushed for what they are, it was one of the only modern games that actually brought back one of my favorite Zone songs. And even I never even played the game to begin with, which was Puppet Panic Zone 2 from the
3D Blast.
Saturn version, I believe. And then my next game to pretty much round out the era of bad Sonic games would be Sonic 06, being actually my first PlayStation 3 game back in 07. But after that, my Sonic gaming trail pretty much ended with Sonic Unleashed.
Mhm.
Sonic Unleashed is one of the best 3D games in my opinion.
I would agree.
I actually
Yeah.
picked it up last night, and I was having fun until I got to Empire City Night. Empire
Yeah.
City Night just makes me mad because of all the fucking like tight narrow passing you gotta do, and all the narrow pathways that have like spikes at the end. And Sonic for some reason just doesn't know how to walk straight because apparently he's just always drunk.
Always.
Yeah, no, the balancing act with Werehog is pretty brutal. Most of the times when I do that, I kind of just do a little hop just to maintain balance.
That's what
But
I
it
found was
doesn't get-
working. Yeah.
Yeah.
But honestly, it gets 10 times worse once you get to Eggman Land. Oh my god,
Well,
Eggman Land.
Eggman Land's where it's
Eggman Land-
inappropriate for it to be hard because it's the last stage.
Yeah, but this is a hard stage that's basically one of Sonic's longest level of all time.
It was very tedious. It was
Yeah,
very tedious.
I think I completed the stage in total, not even counting deaths, because I lost count after some point, with like 35 minutes on the clock, and I still managed to get a rank, B rank. It gets really brutal, and a lot of the set pieces in Eggman Land are very unforgiving. Like the the um, the roller coaster segment, for example. Sonic Unleashed on both roller coaster sections, both in Hollow Skull and Eggman Land, they have a very bad track, to say the least, where sometimes you'll just go careening off the ledge when you should be able to properly hop over it.
Hmm.
But all in all, it's definitely one of my favorite Sonic games, and really it would be the last Sonic game until Mania and Forces came
Oh,
out.
sorry.
Okay. I mean, I did. Hmm? What's
No,
up?
that's fine. So, no, you're good. You're good. Sorry, just forgot about the alarm.
Unleashed still is my favorite, especially with something I did with one of my characters, which is starting to turn into its own dirty little thing. So, thanks Unleashed for giving me a fetish I didn't know I had.
Who
Wow.
doesn't love a werewolf?
Fucking werehogs are.
Werewolves are supposed to be like a horror creature. I mean,
We
Yeah,
live in an age where everyone wants to bone the
I-
monsters.
that's true.
like
No,
I
I mean, I have plenty of fond memories with Unleashed too, but admittedly, I was just more of a fan of the day stages. I don't necessarily dislike the Werehog. It's just like I want to play a Sonic game where it's fast and platforming, and again, I thought that the combat and the game design for the Werehog was actually done really well, but it just wasn't what I wanted to play. It was very slow and very tedious, and it got boring after a while. But I remember fondly just playing the day stages over and over and
oh
over
yeah,
again,
especially if
because they
you
were-
especially if you want to rank to like max out like both like Hedgehog and Werehog.
I mean, I wasn't even just doing it just like for like achievement's sake. I was just doing it because it was so much fun. I
So-
would keep playing the same stages over and over again, just like to see how fast and how smoothly I could do the stage, and it was just like, oh, this just feels so good. This is so great. So I would just play those speed boost stages over and over again, trying to find all the shortcuts and trying to do them as best as I could, as quickly as I could. It felt great.
So did you manage to get the Shamar achievement where you have to beat that stage in a certain time limit? Because honestly, that was one of my difficult, and I still never gotten it to this day.
I couldn't tell you what any of the achievements are. I was never
I
much
did
of an
it, but
achievement
I did it the dirty way. I did the glitch.
There's a glitch.
Yeah, there's a way to glitch it. Look it up on YouTube. Apparently, I think if you die somewhere and restart at the same time, it'll spawn you at the end, so you can literally beat the stage in like less than a second. It's
You know, that kind of reminds me of the one glitch in Sonic 06 where you have to do put the apples in the barrel with silver, and then you fill them up halfway, kill yourself, and then you just get an automatic S rank for no reason.
Oof.
Yeah. We were
Oh,
talking
yeah,
about,
go on.
we were actually talking about Unleashed right before the show started. What are you guys' favorite stage? Let's start with Raph
My favorite stage,
and Unleashed. Yeah.
Unleashed. Oh, I liked, like I said, I liked pretty much all of the day stages. I do think like the end it got a bit tedious, but I remember one stage in particular. I could not tell you the name of it, but there was just one stage on the like tropical
Adabat.
zone area.
Yeah, Adabat.
And there was like this kind of, it was like an optional stage. It wasn't like a story stage. It was like an optional. And you started the stage by doing the whole like kind of 3-lane thing where you would like dodge between like the it was like a walkway over like water. And I remember that stage, I just had so much fun like trying to blast through it as fast as possible.
Same
I-
actually.
I mean, I'm totally not like any kind of record holder or anything, but I remember vividly going back. I was doing that as fast as I possibly could, and I remember trying to look up like people doing it on YouTube, like videos of it, and I couldn't find anyone who had a time as good as mine. And that made me feel. I mean, I know there's obviously people out there who have easily beaten it with whatever, but
It made you
but I
feel
remember-
really accomplished.
it did. I felt accomplished because I did it so fast, but it was just so much fun to play, even playing over and over again. It just felt so good, and that's what I loved about Unleashed, those day levels. But, Yeah, that stage, where the hell stage that was. I honestly, even playing like the first couple stages were a lot of fun. Um, there was one like that like jungle temple one. I can't remember exactly. That one was pretty cool.
Jungle
Again, I'm not a wellspring
Was it
of
like
knowledge.
was it like African looking? Like was it like an African
Yeah.
citadel? Oh, it was Mazuri.
I remember that one. I don't think it was that one. But whatever. I couldn't possibly tell you all the stage names. I'm not a wellspring of knowledge. I don't remember every little detail of the games like a lot do. But I just remember having generally any of the day stages. I just loved playing any of them really. But yeah, that one in particular, that one little like like jungle one. It was like an optional. I just did it over and over again because I just had such a blast playing through it.
What about you, Zeno? You said you
Uh,
said you liked Alaska, didn't you?
Yeah,
That's a
back when Sonic Unleashed was showing off the level previews back when the game was coming out, the Halaska trailer was the one that I would always replay the most because I always enjoyed the music that accompanied it, and just playing the level itself was just so. It was fun for me. Sorry about the cutout. Let go of the button. Other of my favorite levels would be also Adabat, one of my favorite levels, both in aesthetics, the water running, the music. It was very enjoyable. And my third stage would be Chunan daytime. That was one of my favorite stages. Heck, that was one of the stages where I would try to beat that one the fastest way I could, try to get all the sun moon medals, get it down to the fastest time that I could, get all the shortcuts that I could remember at the time. Because when you're going fast in that game, you feel like you're going fast in that game.
Yeah.
And compared to a lot of the later games, aside from Colors and Lost World, because those are the only two modern Sonic games that I've never played for reasons. But comparing it to like Generations, where I played the first three stages and the boss that accompanied those three stages after, Sonic Unleashed just had a certain way of dealing with speed that I feel never got really the same treatment in the other Boost games that I've played, again being Generations and most recently Sonic Forces.
It felt like it was at the height of like the Boost play.
Which is ironic since that was the first game to introduce the Boost formula that wasn't Sonic Rush. Because realistically, Sonic Rush was technically the first game to introduce that. But in terms of
I've said this before about Unleashed. I honestly like just looking at the state of the game and the quality and like what's in it compared to any other modern Sonic game. I honestly believe that Unleashed was like the last time that Sega put a really big budget behind a Sonic. Like it feels like the cinematics and all that and just a lot of it. Like I definitely feel like Unleashed was the last time they put a really big budget behind a Sonic game. Everything else since then has just been kind of like, okay, we're gonna use the assets that work. We're just gonna reuse them.
And speaking of cinematics, that opening cinematic for Unleashed is something of a spectacle, even though it's
It was like a movie.
12 years old now at this point.
It felt like
How long ago?
It felt like a good CGI movie.
It did.
It really did.
I said, I feel like I said, Sega probably like last time they ever put a big amount of money and budget behind a Sonic movie, and that opening cinematic is a great way to show that. It was pretty damn phenomenal.
It was.
Not to mention,
There was a good. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Considering that the last game before Unleashed was Sonic 06, I felt like Unleashed was a real true apology to that as well.
I feel like 06 could be good if it got redone without like a deadline that was like really pushed. Because isn't that what the problem was? Was that it was just rushed because they wanted to be out by Christmas?
Yeah, for the anniversary. I think that's the rumor what people say.
I don't know if I'm like on the same boat with you guys as that. Even if it was like polished and done well, I still think there's just a lot of bad story and cringe writing and
without a doubt
characters. I mean, admittedly, you guys might feel differently, but I don't like Silver. I definitely don't like.
That's the only reason why I think it's good is because I actually do like Silver. But Because that's like
Yeah.
my opinion,
I'm,
and it's not enough an opinion to really save '06 by any means.
I'm like in a neutral playing field because ironically Sonic 06 is one of my favorite games. To me since it was the game that introduced me to the PS3. But for both the good and the bad and whatnot, the writing could be better. There could be better uses for certain characters like Elise, Amy, for example. They could have given Silver a lot more of a
Silver could
better
have had just
presence,
Silver could have had
really.
just better writing in general.
Yeah. And
Tropes.
then of course the argument about Blaze the cat just kind of being there. Um,
Blaze being there is kind of just weird. It's just like, here's Blaze.
Especially
Well,
since
I think the problem, I mean, the '06, that is actually they repeated the mistake they kind of made with Sonic Adventure 1, is they tried to do too many different things in one game.
They try
And
to
it's
have like
just
too many stories going on at once.
yeah,
too many stories, too many types of gameplay, that kind of thing. It's just too stretched thin.
and to be fair, aside from Silver, Sonic and Shadow were more or less the same. The only difference being Shadow chaos control and vehicle control.
Shadow
But
also kind of had combos. It was just his. It was like
they were
Sonic's.
only useful to like the bigger enemies, like the golems and the
Yeah,
worms. But everything
yeah.
else, it was just chaos control, warp the next enemy in the air, and the next thing you know, you're careening off the edge for no reason.
Shadow also just felt clunky.
He did.
Shadow and Silver both felt clunky. Sonic was okay.
Sonic was just broken. They broke him basically with his jewel system. He was just broken.
Actually, let's go through other characters and figure out what's wrong with them. So Sonic was broken. Tails' ring bomb was just stupid.
It was a laggy mess, is what that was.
And why would you have a ring bomb? Because half the
Well,
time when you're like trying to collect
when you-
actual rings, you're collecting your fake rings, which is just throwing you off.
To be fair, it's not like Sonic Hero did it any better, but then again, how often are you Tails solo or any other flight character solo for that long?
Again,
period
they
of
try to
time?
spread themselves too thin. Like, oh, we need to have gameplay for Tails too. What do? Oh, we'll just throw some like half-ass ring bomb of attack.
I would rather him
And
just have
actually,
like a little mech animal that would explode. That would be fine because you don't
Kinda
really
like-
collect flickies in that
Kind
game.
of like Rouge when her bombs, right?
Yeah, because you can tell what Rouge's bomb is because her bombs aren't rings; they're just bombs. They're just little
And then-
heart-shaped bombs.
And then speaking of Rouge and Knuckles, how you call it, the fact that they would just cling to the wall, it would be impossible just to get them off half the time unless you really got that one proper jump.
We could probably spend the entire podcast and then some talking about all the things wrong with '06.
Oh, without a
Oh,
doubt. I
Yeah,
feel that though, out of all of them, though, Amy was the worst offender.
Amy's just a bad character.
It's like
I say
compared
this every podcast. There's nothing good about Amy.
It's like compared
I
to her
kind of
last.
agree. I kind of agree. Yeah.
It's like compared to her last main game appearance being Sonic Adventure 1, when she was actually playable solo. They kind of really gutted her character, but you only play her for
What
what?
character?
No, I mean like
Amy has-
gameplay style and whatnot. The finesse that she had in like Sonic Adventure.
Amy was the worst. I would rather play as Big.
I wouldn't say that, but Amy
Don't
was
mess with my
definitely by no
boy.
means good.
Amy was just the slowest character in that game.
But then, ironically, I've never been in Sonic Adventure because I hate Skydeck that much.
Skydeck's not that bad. I've gotten used to it. I got good at it. I don't know. It's not as bad as people make it out to be.
No, but it was definitely the part that really turned me off from the game. But that
Granted,
doesn't mean I hate it. I do enjoy Sonic Adventure, both of them for what they were for when they came into my gaming lifestyle.
I think
but,
I think most of like the old fans can always appreciate Sonic Adventure's place in history. I guess. Like they can appreciate like the fact that it was the first. Okay, what was really the first 3D game? But it was the first like 3D game that everybody remembers.
Yeah.
Like because a lot of people aren't gonna remember R, and a lot of people aren't gonna remember Sonic Jam.
Or
Yeah,
Sonic 3D Blast.
I played the hell out of all those games. Sonic R, Sonic 3D, Sonic Jam.
Never got my hands on Jam. I played Sonic R through the Gems collection, like everybody
Jam
else.
Jam was a great collection. Jam was
I
a
wish
wonderful
I
wonderful
had
way to
that.
do a collection.
I wish I had Gem Collection. Like I said earlier, I had the Mega Collection Plus for PS2. I know there was the Gem Collection for PS2, but it was a lot more rare compared to the GameCube version. Unfortunately, I never grew up with the majority of Nintendo products aside from the handhelds, and my first Nintendo home console would be the Wii, and later to current day, the Switch.
The Jam was something special in my eyes. Like just running around the hub in the 3D world was just so amazing as a kid. And the amount of content they had available at your fingertips in that was amazing. Like you had all the classic games, then you had like a collection of like animations, commercials. You had all like concept art. It was phenomenal. It was like a Sonic fan's dream come true in a game.
Mm-hmm.
I love Jam.
If I could ever like emulate it, I could probably like get a playthrough and see if I could like appreciate it. I want to.
And I want to play Sonic R despite what everyone said. But to be fair, I want it for the soundtrack. That's just some
That's
pure.
what. That's
Everyone says.
That's
like
what
it's just the perfect '90s soundtrack ever. To be, in my opinion, it's just.
Again, I played the ever living hell out of Sonic R, and yes, it is a broken game. It is completely unbalanced, but it is just so much fun and
That's
so
all that matters.
charming. And I remember playing it. This is gonna be a cringy story, so get ready. When I was a little kid playing Sonic R, I was so infatuated with it that one time in school we had to do like it was like a story assignment. You had to like write a story. I literally wrote a fanfic as a little kid about Sonic R as my assignment. And I was just so hyped about it. Yeah, Sonic R, yeah, it's just so charming. Like you can't get more charming than Sonic R. I would play it again, like on Steam or something if they could possibly. I know that they can. I'm pretty sure like licensing issues
Oh yeah.
prevent them from bringing it back. But if they did, I'd buy that in a heartbeat. Heartbeat. No matter how broken it was so unbalanced. It was so unbalanced, but like it was just so much fun.
To be fair, how you call it, my first instance was Sonic R, and ironic, this is more or less how I actually got into the fandom myself, all the way back in like late 2006, early 2007 when I was in middle school. Was the Tails doll theory, if anyone remembers that. Oh my god. In
That's
middle
right.
school. In
Sonic
middle
R gave us
school.
Tails doll.
In middle school, I made a friend with somebody, and one of our little friend projects was actually writing little horror stories and whatnot. So, I would go to like the Barnes and Nobles, get like books about haunted houses, stuff like that. We would write our own little short stories, and then she was the one who found out about the Tails doll thing, I believe. And then from there, it just spiraled and spiraled until I found actual fan characters on YouTube, where people used to re-edit Sonic X screenshots into their original characters and whatnot. The good old days of YouTube back then.
I miss those days.
And from there on, that's how I ended up finding DeviantArt the first time. I actually had two accounts, how you call it. My first one, and I still remember because it was an alias that I used a couple dozen times on the internet back when the games were good, when you had all these friends to play with and everyone just had time for everything, like old school Roblox, Maple Story, Gunbound, stuff like that. All that.
I played Gunbound. I loved Gunbound. I played the hell out of that game.
Yeah, and actually that was around the same time I believe I found Sonic Robo Blast 2, and I played the ever-loving hell out of that game. And my favorite part was actually downloading each of the WAD files, playing as everyone's own original character, see how they, do with the games. I remember this one Tails kind of recolored character that his main weapon was his actual tongue than anything else.
So Tails became Yoshi.
Wow.
But
First thing I thought of too.
But yeah, back when DeviantArt was still young, and my username used to go by Sonic Rush 445, which is still around on DeviantArt actually.
Can I
But
get
I
a
haven't
can we
used that account in
get a big
ages.
yikes in chat for that nickname for that alias?
But that's after that, like a couple months later, that's when I actually made my next and main account, which
Which was
eventually yeah, it went by a different name back then, but I only went through what two major name changes in my entire DeviantArt artist career, and it was that original name, and then what's now being Zettel State of Mind.
Yeah.
But good times back then, honestly, really good times. It's like sometimes I wish we could go back, back when some of the popular artists back there were just all over the place, like Becky, for example. You couldn't go anywhere on DeviantArt without seeing her name or characters, or the
Yeah.
entourage that her character would always be hanging out with, like Sugar, Venus, and all of them at the time.
There was a lot of good artists that have either disappeared forever. I mean, Becky's case, she came back thankfully, and it's great to have her back. But
Oh yeah.
yeah, so many artists, so many characters I remember vividly that have just like fallen off the face. And they're gone forever, and it sucks.
Yeah,
Place
like there's so many old school characters that I could remember just based on appearance alone, let alone name for most of them.
there's one I can't remember. Bolt Strike was a character I remember. A character called Bolt Strike. He was like a purple hedgehog. He had like a spike choker on one of his spines. It was
Yeah. I call it one character that I remember vividly from then was a bull character, being one of the only few bull characters in the Sonic fandom at the time. Her name was Angara, the bull, and whatnot. There were so many characters back then. Like it's amazing
yeah.
what they left behind and what everything became nowadays, and what that in terms of how fan characters and original characters are in design and lore wise. It's just back then everything was so simple, and now today everything
Life
It's
is
so
hard.
it's
We're
like
all
everything is
grown
so
up and adults, and things suck.
And now we're bitching at each other every day, every week on Twitter. There's not like 1 week on Twitter where there's not a big drama bomb going down.
Yeah, I remember plenty of amazing artists back when I first was like on the internet. The website I would go to all the time to look at amazing artists was T Martle, and
Never heard of that one.
it was around for quite a while. It's not around anymore, I don't think. But yeah, it was one called T Martle, and it had a couple of my biggest inspirational artists on there. Probably my biggest influencer when it comes to my art on the Sonic stuff was an artist called Raph, which is ironic because my name's Rab. Very similar.
He's your cousin secretly.
Nah, he's an artist who lives over in Dubai, and he was amazing. Like he had like the most crazy. He did a lot of like pretty edgy stuff, but he liked the very like dark, futuristic, kind of cyberpunk kind of stuff.
Mhm.
And he did such an amazing job of it. He was like a master at like coloring things with Photoshop way back when, and he had this really edgy character that had like a techno helmet and dark trench coat like the Matrix, and used guns, and very very what you'd expect from artists back then. But
Very 2000s, right?
yeah, very much 2000. Like his art was just so damn good, and he was definitely one of my biggest influencers, like for sure. But he's still around on the internet and all that, but he doesn't do like Sonic artwork anymore. I think he does like digital artwork with like a magazine over in Dubai for like graphic artists, things like that. He still posts a thing or two every once in like a year, like on DA every once in a while, but he usually does like more anime-esque stuff, more punk stuff.
That's what happened to a
but-
lot of Sonic artists. They either became like full-on free like anthro artists, or they became like anime artists.
It's amazing how drawing anthropomorphic animals in the Sonic universe could land some of us some big positions later on in life. It's mind blowing, honestly.
So
Yeah.
that's what happened to Soap. She took place in. She did some work with Big Fish. Big Fish.
Big Adventure 3,
Big
yeah.
Yeah.
fishy picture.
She actually, yeah, like I think they used her art in it or something like that. So
Yeah, she did some of the artwork for before she disconnected from that project, which honestly I've always been a fan of her work growing up and whatnot, and she was one of the big three,
oh yeah,
being Becky, Venus, and then Sugar. Those artists at the time, they were the big three. You couldn't go anywhere without seeing their names somewhere or seeing someone draw fan art for them. Even I drew
oh
fan
yeah.
art of Venus at some point in life, twice actually. Um,
Soap's latest character I really like. Her little unicorn.
which one?
She made a unicorn a couple weeks ago, and it just she drew it, and then it really blew up all over the
Oh
fandom.
yeah, I remember how you call it. She made a new character, new main character and whatnot to basically kind of like the pepper to Misty's salt, basically. I absolutely love the design so far.
That's the thing about like those three. Like Becky still keeps Purity around. She still likes Purity from what I can tell. But
Hmm.
but like Mist and So really don't really like keeping Sugar and Venus around. I've noticed.
No, I
Really?
believe how you call it is
Yeah,
just
Mist.
that chapter is long ended, so it's time for a
No,
new
there's
chapter.
different stories. I don't know Soap's story, but Mista said several times that Venus, the character, reminds her of like a lot of depressing times with drama and shit. So I guess she's just choosing to like drop that off,
That's understandable.
which is funny because Mist is just a combination of Venus and oh, what was that other character?
Astrid, I believe her name was.
Was it Astrid?
It was the pangolin character you're thinking
Yeah,
of. The blue...
no Saber.
Yeah.
No Saber.
Yeah, Saber. Sorry, I know her as the other name, but I believe that was her username at the time.
Hmm.
Yeah.
What was it, Astronova or something?
I
like
can't
that?
imagine personally changing my main character like that. But admittedly, I am not one who has dealt with drama. I've always been so good at avoiding drama, and like my character, ultimately, I have had the one character, but it's just constantly evolved through the years to become what it is now.
Yeah.
I think the biggest like amount of drama I had with my character is when I just changed. It used to be black color, but I changed him to red, and I did that because people kept calling him Shadow, and that's
Oh,
like
yeah.
that's about as dramatic as the drama of my character ever was. It's, okay, I'm sick of people calling him Shadow, so I'm gonna change his body color to red, which is my favorite color anyway, so it worked out regardless. But
I actually have a similar story to that as well. My main character, which he still is, though he's not the forefront mascot for my account, basically for my name. Um, One of his designs, how you call it, ended up looking a lot like Shadow because I did like Shadow's spike design and whatnot. I like the pointed up design of the spikes, but admittedly he looked a little too much like Shadow, but he was orange, orange red, whatever you want to call it. To the point that I actually redesigned them into something completely different, kind of keeping the same idea, but definitely going about it in a different direction. But I feel like when it comes to a lot of characters and whatnot, at least especially back then, and even now, a lot of characters tend to look like some of the officials, like Sonic or Shadow, mostly.
mhm.
And at some point, as Sonic artists and whatnot, who have our own characters, we kind of, at some point, it's time to change it up. Time to really separate my character, who looks probably too much like this character, and try to make them their own character, finally, appearance-wise.
Yeah. That's what bothered me so much about people calling my character Shadow. The problem I simply had was I have the same color aesthetics. I have black and red. It is like the main colors. Black, red, and white are like the main kind of color theme for my character. But that's the problem was that's what people would immediately see when my character was black. Oh my god, it's Shadow because there was a black hedgehog who had like red like marks on his
Highlights.
clothing and such. I didn't have any highlights on like the actual body him at all. I didn't have like markings or anything
Mhm.
back, and it was just the clothing. Because it was black with red, markings like on the clothing. It was there's Shadow, which drove me crazy. So yeah, I changed his body color to red. And but what really bothered me so much about it is, yeah, they just saw the colors. But if you looked at the actual character design, characters were so different. but it was just the color scheme alone that got people like immediately thinking, "Oh, this is Shadow the Hedgehog," which just that just irked me so badly. And that's why I changed his body color. But like, yeah, my character's got facial hair. He's got like all these different kind of clothing. He's got like besides the color scheme, there's like no similarity. The spines are completely different, but people just would not catch on to that, and it drove me nuts. So yeah, I changed his color. So.
I don't think I ran into any problems with my characters. The only reason why I've left Axel behind because, well, female hedgehogs apparently get better attention than, cute fox boys.
If it's got boobs, it's gonna be more popular. It's plain
I
as
think
day.
the most shit that you got actually in terms of character design was the echidna with ear situation.
Oh. Oh, fuck you, Raxon, if you're watching this.
Oh, God.
Yeah, I'm calling him out. There's this guy I know from Second Life, and I swear to God, he is okay, I don't want to use that term. He is such a... I'm trying to think of a good term, just like... Not the word we mentioned earlier, He just thinks he is the biggest authority on, like, oh, this is the way characters should be. Oh my god, you have a female hedgehog with not connected eyes. What's wrong with you? And I'm like, just, who do let you on the planet?
He's the OC police.
Yeah. No, I have this again, this character. He has, like, cat ears, like I said, because fuck you, that's why. This is like, fuck it, just give him cat ears, because I thought it looked good. And a lot of people actually did enjoy it. But there's like so many people, it was like, why? And I'm like, why is it bothering you? It's not even your character. And I was going to change it, but then people threw a fit. I was like, fuck it, it's staying. And then I just hear like people going, Ree! I'll probably post them later, but... Yeah, I don't know. Like, it's just a side character, so I wasn't like too, like... attached to it.
Fair.
Right, what is our... I feel like we covered some topics already.
Kind of.
Okay, so... Did we talk about... Okay, we talked about why you're in the fandom still. No, actually, no, did we?
Not really. We talked about when we started the fandom. Didn't really are in it.
Yeah, why are we still here?
Why are we still here?
For me, the reason I'm still here was re-solidified with Mania. It gave me the same feeling as I did as a kid, the same exhilaration. Just I gotta go fast. God damn it! I love the speed, the momentum. It gave me such a rush as a kid, and I'm feeling it again now as an adult. And I don't know what is it about Sonic. Like it's the character's design that spawned so much artwork and so much like fandom in it. Like look, I mean, like Mario and all them have plenty of fan art, but you don't see nearly as many like Mario OCs. They're out there, obviously, but what is it about Sonic that just inspires so much creativity and artists that they keep making content for it? I don't know, something about it just works.
I just like the aesthetic of the Mobian style.
Yeah, that's probably it. It's just something about it clicks with everybody.
It's also like, because it's kind of like furry Anthro, but without being like too far into it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's kind of cartoony.
I think that's the main. Sorry for the noise. I think that's the main draw. Is because it's so cartoony, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
And a lot of people draw the Mobians with like big butts, big titties.
Yeah, but you're no Saint either, too, Axel.
Hey, we don't talk about that in here.
I didn't mention that though.
Shut up.
I don't know. Going back to the question, I definitely think the way it felt made you feel. I don't know, like the characters, the personality. It gives you a lot of like Sonic is a free spirit. He enjoys. He's a good guy. He's about helping people, but he wants to be free. He wants to see the world. He wants to go where he likes. That kind of I think that appeals to people personality wise, and even if it seems childish. yeah, aesthetically wise, it's just something about it that just clicks with everybody, I think, and just inspires creativity. The world, obviously, the zones, the music. Oh god, the music has always been so good.
All the music's good except for one game.
Yeah, for that one game.
Mm.
Um, I don't know. Maybe just people like Spikes. Maybe because he's got spikes on him, he's just cooler.
Or maybe it's just like the 90s characteristic that he
There's
has.
nothing wrong with the 90s.
Except for the clothing that we wore in the 90s.
Those are kind of coming back now. So.
Oh, yeah.
Everything comes back in a cycle.
I wouldn't know, because the only thing I've been wearing for like the last 7 years is just my pajamas. 'Cause
Listen,
I
don't be surprised if you see
You
people
get
rocking
outside.
the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air gear again.
That's
Nope.
right, coming back.
I need to find out where I can watch the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, because I kind of want to binge watch it.
I think it's on Hulu. I'm not sure.
Oh, I'll just use my
Probably.
sister's account then.
But what Paradise is saying in chat is also kind of true. I think just another big part of it you just can't really overlook is just if you grew up with these characters, you're attached to them. You care about them. You care about what happens to them, the stories they go through. You just want more of it, really.
Oh, yeah. Since we're on that topic, what's everyone's favorite male and female characters? Let's start with Srath.
Male and female characters.
Yeah.
Do they have to be organic?
I mean, are they... What do you mean, organic?
My favorite character out of any
I
of the
mean,
characters in the Sonic franchise, my favorite character is Metal Sonic.
I know a friend that really likes metal, so that's valid.
I know a
If
number
I-
of people who love
If
metal.
I can't pick a robot, it'd probably be Knuckles.
Robots count. They're still character.
When it comes to female characters, it's really hard to say because are we talking game canon or like just general
Anything. Like,
anything?
if you want to include comics, you want to include games, you want to include TV shows.
It is so hard. It really is so hard because I grew up with the Archie comic. I grew up again right from the beginning.
Oh,
playing
Archie
Sonic
just
1.
gives you like more
He
selection.
grew up with the Pender era.
Oh no.
Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of that true, but I grew up reading all of them, so from the very beginning, there's so many characters though. I like Sally. I do like Sally. I know a lot of people don't, but I really do like Sally. I think she's a good character. I think she's a good character that has been mismanaged, like many of Sonic's characters.
What is the problem everybody has with Sally?
The problem with Sally is they kind of turned her into this relationship character. It's like, oh, I'm gonna go have a romantic, intimate relationship with this character. Oh no, I changed my mind. I'm gonna have a romantic, intimate relationship with this character. And it was just like, oh, your drama. Oh, you're just having relationship drama. But
Yeah.
character herself was supposed to be a strong, she's
Independent.
independent. She's a princess from an overthrown world, and she's got to be a leader, and it's hard and dealing with all these people and this BS, and she has to be the responsible one, and she's very capable. But they just kind of turned her into a teenage soap opera, somewhere in the comics just came to that, and it got so bad, cringy. I really liked what they did with her after the reboot they did in Archie before Archie went under, the actual reboot Genesis wave thing they did. I liked the way they redesigned her. I appreciated the way that they did with her. I thought it was good. I always liked her, in the original too, when she was pretty much just naked with a vest and boots. But still,
So basically how she looked in Saddam.
yeah, like Saddam. But I have so much appreciation for Sally that I feel like a lot of people don't have. There are plenty of other characters in the comics I liked, regardless of the creator. I like Julius Sue. I thought Julius Sue was a great character.
I loved Aiken as Julie and Laura Sue. I loved them most.
Yeah, I had a big fondness for the Echidna characters, regardless of their creator.
Yeah,
Leander was
say-
also another good one.
I have
Yeah.
to say, since
Go
the
ahead.
comic, aside from Chronicles and Adventure 1, the comics really did add a lot of flavor to the Echidna that the games really don't do nowadays. It's just Knuckles.
Yeah,
And
but admittedly, I liked a lot of the characters and the stuff they did with the Echidnas in the comics, but it got a little too ridiculous. It got too much, too big, too ridiculous.
Yeah, I could see that. I've never
really
grown up with the comics, so I can't really comment too much. But from what I do know, I do like what they did do with a lot of the major Echidnas. And what was his name? I want to say Nefarious, the white evil scientist one. I really do.
Finitivus.
Finitivus. Yeah,
There we go.
I can never say that name. I can
Someone,
never-
someone corrected us about an episode or two ago. It was Finitivus. God
It's funny how-
damn it.
Oh,
Finitivus.
albino Knuckles. Albino evil Knuckles.
I love
It's funny because
Finit-
I'm calling him.
I
I'm
call
calling
him
a
him
good character.
Nefarious.
He was a good character.
He was my-
he was generally like a sinister, a plotting, a good design, and evil character.
I liked him better than Scourge. Like, I don't hate Scourge, but everybody likes Scourge. Everyone's like, oh, Scourge is the best character.
Everyone
No,
loves
no,
Scourge.
he's not the best character. He's like a meme character. As far as I'm concerned, he's a good character. I like Scourge a lot more than like the old evil Sonic. But he was never a character you had to take super serious.
Scourge,
You know.
Scourge is like that character every girl who likes bad boys. That's gonna appeal to. That's who they appeal
Yeah,
to.
that's
So.
literally what he was. He was like the bad boy. He was like the guy from Grease. You know, he was the John Travolta Sonic the Hedgehog character. I'm a greaser. I'm a bad boy.
Just
Look
put
at me being a bad boy,
John Travolta.
which is
is not
fine.
Scourge's voice.
Which is totally fine. Which is totally fine. They can have a simple character based off a simple, stereotypical aesthetic, and I'm okay with it. But it does not mean they're the best character.
No, but without a doubt, they're one of the other side characters that got some of the most lore dumped into them. From going from Evil Sonic to Scourge, and then Scourge's finale being Super Scourge for what that was. From what I've
That was
seen,
pretty cool.
but
Hey,
I
Joe.
remember when Super Scourge that arc was coming out, and everyone was more or less losing their shit over it. I had no idea how to feel because I've never read the comics, and
Last comic I read was that issue where it was Sonic and Scourge versus Metal Sonic and Metal Scourge. So I'm like way behind, but it doesn't matter because it's
I remember that. Yeah, that was funny. It was Robotnik or Eggman or whatever you want to call him was watching it was Sonic, Scourge, and Metal Sonic were fighting, and then Robotnik's like, "What? Who's this green hedgehog? Hold on a second." Makes a Scourge robot, sends him out. All right, there we go.
if I remember
we got a
correctly,
matching set.
didn't Metal Scourge's chest look like a goddamn toaster?
I
It
can't
did-
remember. I can't
it-
recall.
it
Might have.
kind of did. I came across the comic like a couple weeks ago in my closet, so I will have to pull it out again.
Like I remember there was an artist on DeviantArt that went by Amber, and she made a joke about wanting to put bread into Metal Sonic's chest because his chest looks so much like a toaster and whatnot.
I wonder if that's where the fucking Sonic toaster came from.
Honestly, going back, that reminds me, Hayek, because that artist actually was often drawing fan art. I don't know if they owned the character or they were just drawing them because they were friends. But there was this fan character that went by Aeon the Hedgehog.
I remember him.
It was a white and green hedgehog that I remember first seeing in that Sonic RPG game on Newgrounds. Oh my god. Oh, the Sonic Final Fantasy, was it called?
Wow.
Yikes.
Oh my god.
But getting back to the question you asked me, see, Metal Sonic, all-time favorite, I guess, male character. If robots don't count, then probably Knuckles.
Robots count. They're a character. Just because they're not a guy doesn't mean they don't count.
When it comes to female character, I definitely like Sally. I'm not a huge fan of Amy. She's just like Girdle the Hedgehog, but she's developed more of a personality in the comics if you read them, but she's still just kind of like Girdle the Hedgehog, really.
Yeah,
So,
she
can't-
was definitely
can't
a
say I'm a
more.
fan.
She was very clingy, very stereotypical love struck, goes through
Yeah.
anything just to get to her man. But nowadays, they're actually really fleshing her out, really making her own thing. Like she actually can fight for herself, and she's not going gaga over the blue hedgehog as much as she would normally do back in the early days when she was first announced.
Yeah, he was always just like, "Oh, Sonic, hard eyes." I'm like, "Oh my god, get out of here, away." It's no wonder Sonic runs away from this all the time.
But nowadays in the comic, the IDW comics, from what I've seen, they pretty much get along just fine like anyone else.
Yeah. I've been appreciating a lot of what IDW's been doing, and the characters are just they're not super oh my god, super deep, but they're they're the characters we expect, but not like so like cringy in any way. Like Amy, she's
Yeah.
just like she's responsible, she's capable, but she's still Amy. You know.
Hmm.
So yeah, I appreciate what IDW has been doing.
Uh, let's see. Now to answer that question,
Yeah, it's your turn now, Zeno.
um, I would say one of my favorite male characters in the Sonic universe, and this is coming from solely the video game spectrum, since I've never seen the early cartoons or read the comics growing up. Would have to be one of the villain characters, Mephiles. Honestly, um,
Metal is very like aesthetically pleasing to watch. At least the crystallized one. The other ones is like, okay, hi,
yeah,
I'm discount
like
Shadow.
I really like the idea behind Mephiles and how you call it. Out of all the villains, video game wise, he's definitely one of the more terrifying ones. And not to mention one of the only villains in the video games to actually wreck Sonic shit. But just his presence, the performance that's done with him in the games, the crystallized version, and just the idea that if he didn't take on Shadow's appearance, what if he took on like someone else's appearance? Like it was a long time ago. I had made it like saying like, what if instead of Shadow, Mephiles had the appearance of say I don't know Vector, for example. He's an amorphous being that could literally become whatever he wants, more or less.
Now I'm just picturing.
Uh,
Now I'm just picturing Vector, just not Vector, but Metal sound like, hey guys, I'm gonna I'm
Better
gonna
find
take
the
him.
computer room.
Just give Mephiles fucking Dr. Claw voice.
Yeah,
but
want to hear that line? Find the computer room, but in Mephiles' voice.
Yeah, but yeah, without a doubt, Mephiles has been one of my favorite characters for what he was, and for the only appearance that he really made vocal wise, because he did make some appearance in other games like Sonic Runners, but I don't really count that to be honest. But definitely one of my favorite male characters. One of my favorite female characters, which is one of the more basic answers anyone can give, honestly. But there's really no problem with that. But I love Blaze the Cat. I really do. Ever since her introduction in Sonic Rush, which I got introduced to her, I love her character dynamic. I love how she fits in with the Sonic cast. It's like compared to every other character in the Sonic cast and whatnot, Blaze is like the most neutral character and whatnot. You could pretty much almost see her in every role that she's been in since her inception, with the exception of Sonic 06, where she just felt tacked on. But even then, just her mentor role for Silver, it felt right in terms of the character development way. Um, I love that she's basically
Hmm.
a combination between Knuckles and Sonic, and she's definitely one of the most level-headed characters, even if she can be a bit
Wait,
hot-headed.
how do you feel that Blaze is a combination of like Knuckles and Sonic?
The reason why I say that because in Sonic Rush, she's the guardian of the Soul Emerald. So,
Uh,
so basically,
Okay, so Knuckles because of the Guardian thing, right? Just
exactly.
I'm gonna say like besides that, being a guardian of like gems, there's like no real like really like comparative
No,
aspects of the character.
no, but like in terms of like job role and whatnot, like she's actually more or less doing her job. Well, at the time with Sonic Rush games and whatnot. Later on, she's just like Knuckles. She's just kind of there for the ride, more or less. Because the Master Emerald, no one cares about the Master Emerald anymore.
What? What are you
um,
talking about? We love the Master Emerald.
Master Armor hasn't really been a plot piece for a long time. Wasn't like you
the
think?
la- the
Go ahead.
last plot piece for the Master Emerald, to my knowledge, was actually Sonic Chronicles.
I didn't know that. I got like 4 chapters into Sonic Chronicles, and then I got
I never,
stuck.
never played it. Never played it.
But how you call it? But I do love her personality, even though her main gimmick is fire. She's pretty cold, I guess you could say, in terms of how she responds.
Wah.
She doesn't
but
really use her fire a lot in the games, does she? Like outside like gameplay, I mean.
yeah,
And
outside
not to, like
gameplay,
you don't see her like throwing out Hadoukens or anything. No, but
yeah,
she's
No,
a
no,
like you don't. I don't. I don't see like any fire like when she's like in the story, but like Silver's psychic is used a lot more than Blaze's fire. That's basically what I'm trying to say here.
yeah.
yeah.
And then basically all the other roles that Blaze would play, or rather her character model would play, like say in Secret Ring. I think she was in Secret Rings or Black Knight and whatnot. Just her level headedness compared to everyone else. Just go in attitude, think do first, think later and whatnot. She's very much a voice of reason compared to a lot of other characters. Um,
It's actually why I like Sally a lot because she was always like the level-headed, smart one.
yeah.
Like the planner, the person of reason.
hmm
Yeah, I always appreciated that about the character. She wasn't just like jumping like an idiot and fuck it all
And
up.
and then going to the IDW comics, which I've been wanting to read, but I haven't. The way they portray Blaze, how you call it, really does improve on her character even more. Because I feel like in every iteration we see Blaze come into the fray, I feel like they build on her character better than most of they do the other characters. You know what I mean? Is like she gets some of the most screen time despite being a side character, but pretty much every other character has their own, their own shtick, to say the least. Like Amy has hers, Shadow has his, um, but without a doubt, who the hell is calling me? Hold on one moment. But anyways, long story short, Blaze is my favorite female. My favorite male is Mephiles.
All right.
All right. Um. Okay. As for me,
Yeah.
okay. I guess I'm gonna make mine short. Silver for my males, and it's hard to say about females between Blaze and Gold from Archie.
Gold was a cool character concept. I like the way they drew her.
Yeah.
It's a
Like,
very unique style.
what was her story? She was just like she could see the future. Was it?
I couldn't tell you. Like I read only a little bit of the comics that involved her. Um, but she's just like basically like the female version of Silver, just from the future, had her own psychic abilities, that kind of thing. I couldn't really say, but I did like her the way they designed her. It was really unique. I really digged it.
Paradise says she forgot about Gold. Also, fucking going back to Paradise Rock's little comment about Mephiles taking big body. No, thank you. That's
I find it funny how for the two of you, both of your characters are from different dimensions. It's like no, just our favorite characters aren't even from the original world. It's just they're from the future or from a different dimension.
yeah.
uh,
There's also Whisper, but I only like Whisper because of how she looks. I don't know jack shit about her yet, so I need to do more reading on the
her
comics.
character, they haven't developed a lot about her story yet. They've only kind of hinted at it a couple things, but the design wise, she's great. I think she looks wonderful as a character, design wise. She did a
Her,
great job designing her.
her mask reminds me of a Pokemon. I forgot what it's called, like Aeon or something. It's a steel type Pokemon. That's all I could think of.
Aeon?
Yeah, Whisper's
Honestly,
mask.
I mean, her mask is. They've obviously gotten some
Oh,
references from
oh,
Japanese
Aaron. There we
culture,
go.
but
Yeah,
yeah, I don't know. The artist I was talking about before, the one that really inspired me, their character had like a visor mask too that was kind of technology wise. That reminded me of that. Yeah, I don't know. IDW has definitely got some cool characters they've introduced. I really like the design of all the characters they brought in, really, and I just look forward to seeing them more fleshed out.
They seem very fitting for the universe, how you call it.
Yeah,
yeah,
But
like
then again, one of my favorite aspects from what I do know from the Sonic comic, or just the old Sonic cartoons in general, was the the additional animals that they would add into the fray, like what was his name, Rotor the Walrus.
yeah, Rotor
He was
or
definitely,
Boomer.
how you call it, design wise, he was one of the most unique ones, honestly. Because then again, how often do you ever see a Sonic character, original or fan wise, that's a walrus? He's the only one that comes to mind.
Yeah. Yeah, they
Um,
definitely try to be diverse. They kept with some stereotypical animals, like Bunny was the bunny, and but like
Antoine was a
oh, I forgot about
coyote.
Bunny. Bunny is another one I would make my favorite if I didn't choose the others.
Bunny was a
Bunny is
good
a
character.
Mina the mongoose. She was a good one from what I remember.
Archie had so many good
Mm,
characters.
I don't know. I'd have to disagree with Mina. I'm not a fan of Mina. She was just like, here's a girl character that's literally here just to cause relationship drama. That's pretty much Mina the mongoose.
Um, and then one of my favorite character designs that's often forgotten um, is what was it, Techno the parakeet for what little time that she had appearance.
Yeah, a couple cameos. Wasn't she from like Fleetway
I believe so.
originally? But then they brought her over as like a little cameo appearance in the Archie once or twice.
Yeah. Speaking of
Yeah.
Fleetway, Paradise had brought up that she liked Fleetway Supersonic, which is one of my favorite supersonic forms. Just
Why? Why do you
I don't
guys like that?
I think because
What person saw the hero Sonic the Hedgehog defeating Dr. Eggman in the video game and becoming a big pop culture video game icon and thought, you know what? I think I want to make his super form a psycho murderer.
you know
Who thought that was a good idea?
I think the idea behind it, because I kind of thought about this later on after the fact that I initially fell in love with the idea. I think the idea behind Fleetway Supersonic was the idea that since Sonic only went super the first time in Sonic 2, it was supposed to be like a power struggle of him trying to maintain the power of chaos, and it pretty much became an overpowering force that made him well, that would be my interpretation of it, honestly. But
That's a pretty long like stretch because like nowhere in Sonic 2 does it ever have any sort of indication like this is troublesome, this is hard. He's fighting with himself. It was just like, oh, you collected all the emeralds, you get a power up. Like
yeah,
you deserve a super form, which is really cool. It was never like, oh, he got all the chaos emeralds. He must struggle with his internal demons now to defeat evil, but he's internally got like an evil side. And then that was never, ever, ever meant or portrayed whatsoever in the games. But somehow this artist, like, you know what? I'm gonna make this super form evil.
yeah, you know how comic books work, right? Because sometimes they like to stretch ideas out to see what works and what doesn't. Um, Design wise, I did like the whole eye thing going on with Fleetway,
The
even though
little
I don't know.
swirly eyes.
Yeah, even though I don't know too much about the Fleetway series of the Sonic
Sonic
comic
was an
universe.
asshole. That's all you need to know. Sonic was
Sonic's
an
always
asshole.
an asshole.
So no, he was an extra big asshole. He was like talking shit to everyone. Like, oh my god, Tails, your face is stupid. Like that's basically Sonic and Fleetway.
You'll just
And then,
picture Tails
and
as
there
like,
was that one, and there was that one time where Tails almost assassinated Eggman with a gun. I think that's pretty much what Fleetway left for us. Evil, psycho, murderer, Super Sonic. Sonic is a super douche, and Tails almost killed Eggman with a gun. That's Fleetway.
Tails with a gun. Oh my god.
He literally did it. Like I saw there's a page which literally like some dude's like egging Tails on, and Tails got like a rifle. He's literally like a sniper rifle, and he's pointing it at Eggman. He's like, "Do it, Tails. Do it. Save the Earth. Save us.
Do
Kill
it.
him."
Shoot.
I'm like, "What the fuck?" So apparently, he wrote like, it was all murder. He apparently just wanted to take these furry little animals and make them all murderers. He didn't want Tails to be a hitman. Supersonic's is a psycho. It's like, come on, what the hell?
Uh,
Fucking
I don't know. Fleetway just feels like a comic that's trying like way too hard to be dark.
seriously, it's just like one guy's fetish, one secret guy's fetish. He controlled the writing of Fleetway and made it all dark, and it was like it's like take Batman. It's like, okay, take Supersonic and make it like Supersonic the Joker. Make him like a psycho murderer for no good reason.
No, we don't talk
You
about
know,
the Joker. No.
make it super dark.
We don't talk about the Joker in this podcast. I swear to God.
But yeah, I don't know what the hell they were thinking. That's why the Fleetway never made a huge splash. That's why it wasn't around for nearly as long as the Archie comic. I mean, the Archie comics, they make a mistake. It's so much cringy things. It's so much terrible writing. But they certainly weren't trying to fucking put a sniper rifle in kids' hands, you know? Come on
yeah.
now.
I mean, every comic, no matter what series, every series always has that one comic era that's like, yeah, let's just scrub this under the rug and forget it.
Yeah, there was plenty of that in Archie. There was plenty of it, but it was never that. Oh my god.
But then again, Archie did have a whole arc where it just rebooted everything.
Well, I mean, there are multiple reasons
Thanks,
why.
Mega Man. Wasn't that during the Mega Man arc that happened? The Mega Man
Yes.
crossover.
What
Yeah.
what crossover? Oh, you mean the
Mega
Sonic
Man
and Mega Man?
crossover.
Yeah,
The,
didn't
the
that,
first one or the second one?
in general,
First
didn't that
one. I think it was the first one, right?
didn't that Sonic Mega Man crossover was the reason why the Archie got
No,
English.
no. That's not the reason why it happened, but it's what they used to do it. It's not the reason why it had to happen.
Gotcha. But still,
Um,
every comic era for any series and whatnot always has that one era they need to scrub under the rug, or they have those certain story arcs within whatever era they're in that they just kind of push to the side and just go on to the next thing without really giving it any light or joking about it in some way. Like Scrappy Doo. Remember Scrappy Doo? No one remembers Scrappy Doo.
I remember Crappy Doo.
I remember Scrappy Doo.
Oh, you don't?
Power.
Uh,
But we don't talk
Oh, yeah.
about Scrappy Doo.
but yeah, every series has their Scrappy, to say the least.
Yeah, that's true. True.
Like we were talking about fucking Scrappy Doo and about Scooby Doo, and we don't got freaking Bolt here to do his Shaggy voice.
And the
Yeah.
funny thing is, going back to that idea, that would also mean that Sonic Forces is the Scrappy Doo of the modern era.
Oh, fuck off! I don't. Am I the only
I
one
don't-
that likes Forces?
Listen,
I think
I don't,
so. I think so.
I don't hate it. I don't love it. But I was the madman who platinumed that game within the first week.
I
It's-
know you fucking tweeted it about it, you nutcase.
It's mediocre. That's all I'm saying. It is just mediocre.
I would
in
give
every
it a
way.
7 out. I'll give it a 7.5 out of 10.
Oh,
I'd give
you
it a-
are so
I'd give it a-
generous.
I'll
So
give it a
generous.
6.5. It
It's
has good
not-
ideas, but
It's.
I would give it a 5 at most.
I don't think it's
most.
bad. I just think there are just games that in the fandom that are better.
yeah, I mean, without a doubt, Heiko, they had some good ideas going, but overall, execution-wise, it fell really, really, really into the pit.
Like, there's only one part I hate about Forces, and that's Classic Sonic.
Hey, don't you like Iron Fortress though, Axel? Don't you just love auto-scrollers that you can't do anything for 50% of the level?
I don't know. Do you like my fingers inside of your butt?
I don't know. Let's find out.
Wow. And with that, the podcast is over. Good night, everybody.
No. Just Classic Sonic was inappropriate. It wasn't needed. It was just fucking. And they even made a dumb joke. It's like, hey, man, it's been generations since I've seen you. Shut up. Fuck you.
Press F in the
Nah,
chat for
nah.
chaos. My boy got dumped
Oh
dirty.
my god. It's just, they just show him off. It's like, look how pretty he looks. By the way, he's not in the game. Oh my god.
You're literally going over why this game is so bad. But you're like, no, I'll give it a 7.5.
It's not bad. It's just we're pointing out annoying things. There's annoying things about every game. I will even point out things about Mega Man that are
See,
bad.
no. The problem, you see, the Forces. There's an annoying thing about all of it. That's the problem. There's an annoying thing about the entire game has problems. Now, I said it's mediocre. It is not terrible, but it's by no means good.
It's a middle ground type game.
I've said this before many times, and whenever I say that, I'm gonna say it again. I know it. But Sonic Forces to me is they had Generations, which was amazing. They had they had Unleashed. It was good, for what it had in some parts, and Sonic Colors, and et cetera, et cetera. So they had the makings of something good. But Sonic Forces, to me, it feels like what they did is they took the assets from the games they had previously, like Generations, and they basically handed it over to the B team. And it's like, okay, B team, here's all the assets, here's the tools, make a Sonic game with it. And they handed it over to a B team who didn't have the experience or the know-how to do it properly, and they made Forces. Level design, boss design, everything about it was just done like it felt like it was done by somebody who didn't know what they were doing with the tools they had.
I will say how you call it. Aside from Infinite Battle 2, Infinite Battle 1 and especially Battle 3 was disappointing to say the least.
Yeah, it was just a simple okay. Here's
was
like
literally a
left and
rehash.
right, or
It was
like
a-
a rehash. The
It
Metal
was a
Sonic
rehash. Exactly. It's like, it's the final match between Infinite. Everyone's, Wonder Boy for Sonic
Again,
Forces. 'Cause
that's my point. It was basically like, here's the tools to make something. Here's like the skeleton to make a Sonic game. Try and make a Sonic game. But again, these were not the guys They were not the A team. They were not the know-how, the experienced people who did it. It feels like they were given the assets. Like here's how you make a three lane boss. Here's how you make a a stage generally feel. And like, okay, give it a shot. And it just felt like they dropped it. The engine got tweaked in some weird way, and the momentum moving around with classic and modern Sonic got totally dicked up. I don't know what they did with it, but it got totally screwed up.
I mean, isn't it fun just using boost and then careening off the corner? Because you're supposed to turn on an auto track, but instead it just sends you flying into the abyss.
Maybe you should get good on
a lot of
the
the
drift.
a lot of the boosting stuff wasn't so like awful. Like there was definitely not great, but like honestly, what bothered me the most was the platforming, because I don't know what they did with the engine. Their so-called Hedgehog Engine 2, they called it. They literally said, "Oh, we made a new engine for this."
But there's
Which is funny because it's
wrong
literally
with Hedgehog Engine 1 though.
I know
There
that's
was-
the thing, but they made it worse. That's the problem, because
Which
if you compare like the previous game, like Generations and Unleashed, like their boost engine, and you compare this one, you'll notice immediately, like depending on like the speed of momentum you're moving at, it'll affect how like you jump and you move so much more. And when I described it, I said it felt like you were basically trying to shift gears while moving. Because if you jumped around in forces, depending on like what speed you were going, you would either like okay, I'm gonna do there's a platform coming, I'm running at it, I'm gonna jump on it. Depending on how fast you were going, you'd either like always come up too short or just like careen way over it, depending on how fast you were going. Like you were like stuck in a shifting gear situation where depending on how fast you were going, your momentum would like carry you like against your will. It wasn't like a smooth like, oh, I can like jump and like I can like either hold right to make the jump longer feeling, or I could hold like really like just tap it a little bit to kind of slowly gradually go a shorter jump. This was like, okay, I'm gonna run, I'm gonna jump, I'm gonna go woo, I'm gonna fly way over it, I'm gonna jump, I'm gonna feel like I can't I got balls and chains on my feet and I'm gonna like get stopped and I can't jump far enough. I'm gonna fall short and die.
Yeah.
That's what it all felt like. It felt like you were stuck in like these weird like stages of momentum that you couldn't like control.
And it definitely felt more apparent when he did the bonus stages, the little challenge stages and whatnot. Because I've noticed that in some of the challenge stages. Because like I said, I actually went through the entire motions of platinuming the entire game on PS4. So I got to experience the best and the worst. For what little best there is, there was a lot more worse.
Yeah. And then again, I'm really not trying to dump on Forces, because there was some cool things about it. I mean, the avatar system could have been better in some ways, but for like considering what it was
a step in the right direction.
Considering what it was, it's actually quite impressive what they did with it. I think the biggest flaw with the avatar system was just like the base character design, like the hedgehog heads and. They just didn't have like, you wanted to have a Hedgehog character, right? But you wanted to have spines like Sonic. No, you got these tiny little spines at the back of your head that are so small and insignificant. You don't even know they're there if you're looking at your character straight on.
Especially if you put a hat on.
Exactly. So like you take that and it's like, that's disappointing. But I will give it to them. They actually seem to put a lot of effort and time into making a lot of cosmetics, which is cool. There's a lot of unlockable cosmetics, which is neat. So yeah, it's not like the worst thing in the world, but it's still not like, nothing to write home about.
Yeah. I have my two main complaints about Sonic Forces and whatnot is the stage lengths, because
it was so short.
It was awful.
They are some of the shortest levels I've ever experienced in a Sonic game. And honestly,
like I said, they basically they took the assets, they gave it to their B team, like, okay, here, make a Sonic stage, and they did, but it's like they didn't know like what length to make it, how to like properly like lay out like boosting to platforming ratios and all that such. It was it was just like you could tell this was not made by the people who knew what they were doing.
Yeah, at least for me, when it comes to a Sonic stage. I would like the length of the stage itself to be long enough that at least the song has a moment to actually loop to its second playthrough. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because when you're playing Forces, once the music gets hyped up, the level's already over. Like, excuse me?
Yeah.
And
one of my favorite songs. Sorry to interrupt, but one of my favorite songs is Aqua Road. Aqua Road is a really catchy song, but the level is horrible. The
and it's even
level is so terrible. It's
and it's
literally
even
just like water slide the stage. It's literally
yeah.
water slide the stage. Press forward, win the stage. Like what?
And then it's even worse with episode Shadow because the level's even shorter.
Exactly. But the song is so good. Like
It
you
is.
want to hear that song, and again, the music is good. I think the music, like most Sonic games, the music in Forces was actually enjoyable.
Mhm.
Even like the cringy, edgy Infinite theme is still
Yeah.
very amusing.
And then my second complaint actually does again with one of the stages was no space. You know, they made this thing to be such a big deal in the story and whatnot, saying that no one or nothing could escape from this.
Let's just go faster.
Yeah, let's just go. Like, not even 5 seconds to the level. Let's just double boost, and no space is completely negated, and we're free from everything. Like,
Right.
why introduce a plot point?
With,
Like,
with the power of friendship and quick time events, we will escape this void.
it's like how you call. There was so much build up, so much at stake with this whole no space idea. But Sonic says, you know what? Let's just go faster. And then they did, and they
Like-
escaped within 10 seconds.
If they had done something with say like a Chaos Emerald, I would have been more okay. Chaos Emerald, I get that. But yeah, let's just grab hands and run quicker, and somehow we're gonna escape this different dimension. Because that's
Yeah.
a thing.
And then the only other time that you see No Space even make another appearance is the final boss, which is what everyone would say is a rehash of the Nega Wisp boss from Colors.
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah, just another 3-lane rehash. Exactly.
And believe me, Haika, platinuming that level was the worst. I actually managed to get the trophy for it with 1 second to spare because timers don't pause during cutscenes, and those cutscenes, oh
Wow.
my god.
Another thing that drove me crazy about Forces, and this is just a small thing, not necessarily Force's fault, but the fact that why do I have to pick up Wisps to get boost?
I never ran into a problem with that. I never had a.
No! Fuck Wisps. Fuck Wisps. Get rid of them.
So, like,
Tired of them.
They made sets for Colors, but why did they make a return? Like, what happened to the?
Yeah, they don't really
the-
serve a plot purpose.
Think of this.
in
Think of
game.
this. Like I'll say, Sonic Unleashed, Sonic Generations. Like, okay, those games you got boost. It's done well, and even in Colors, it's done pretty well. But like in Colors, okay, we're gonna introduce these aliens called the Wisps from a different planet that Eggman is trying to enslave and use their power to make stuff from. Okay, I get that for Colors. But now, why does Sonic need to pick up Wisp to use the abilities he's already had in previous games?
Not to mention how you call it. Well, Forces made sense to why the Wisp are in the game weapon wise, but as a whole, why were they in Sonic Lost World? Did they need to be in Sonic Lost World? Was there a
Yeah.
reason for them? I never played Lost World, but I definitely felt like they really want the Wisp to be a mainstay. They want the Wisp to be essentially the new Chow and whatnot.
Yeah, pretty much it.
Which
Yeah,
I have-
what's his name? Izuka-san,
Uh-huh.
the head of Sonic team. It's basically, he said it. He's like, I like Wisp a lot. I want to put him in every game.
I mean, I have no problems with that. I mean, I'm pretty sure like that they could find unique uses for them. Like for example, the Wispins, which is a stupid name, honestly. But
I mean, I get the Wispins. Like, it's basically like an IDW with Whisper. Like, they're using Wisp power to enable like these
Yeah.
weapons, like flames
Yeah,
and lasers.
and it makes-
whatever.
it
I
makes
get that.
sense.
That is a cool concept, but that doesn't explain why Sonic needs to pick up Wisp capsules to get boost.
yeah, it really doesn't.
It
Especially
doesn't
since-
explain it whatsoever. Like I said, I basically feel like they took the assets from like Sonic Colors. Okay, here's a Wisp capsule. It gives you boost. Like, here's that asset. Put it into Forces because it's an easy asset to use. And
Mhm.
they didn't do anything unique. They didn't do anything that made sense. They did the cheap shortcut to give him the boost power. It's just use the thing from Colors. Just use that asset. Again, that's what the whole game feels like.
Oh, without a doubt. Because, like, while some levels did have some nice concepts to them and whatnot, it was just more or less going between the same levels, like the same, 4 or 5 levels and whatnot. And ironically, if you were to go, like, free camera and whatnot, any character could have access to the entire map, which is supposed to be a whole level on itself. But really, the worst offender is the city states like Sunset Avenue and whatever Sonic's level was, where it's literally the same level. Like there's no difference. It's literally the same level.
Yeah. Again, they basically, why the levels are so short. They just cut the levels in like half and just just spread them out. And yeah, it was tedious in a different way. Now again, we're talking all this crap, but I don't hate Forces. I actually have quite a few fond memories of Forces. I can say to this day, the first time you do the double boost with Sonic on the pyramid stage,
Yeah.
like level 7 or something like that, somewhere around there. That
Sonic 5 and 7.
felt so good. That felt so goddamn good. Doing that first double boost, you just you go crazy fast. You're blowing through all those robots. It just felt so good the first time. But but the one thing about that moment that just drove me crazy though is okay, the double boost starts going. You start spamming the button to do the quick time event. You do the slap, you start running, the music starts going all crazy, playing the theme song, and it feels so good. But the music doesn't get to the right spot before it ends. It's just a weird, awkward cut. Weird, awkward cut in music. It's like, no, finish the line, finish the bridge, finish the lyrics. No, it's ending in a weird spot. This ruins it. But yeah, while you're running, it felt so cool to do that first time, especially. But after that, it's not so great.
Yeah, like I said.
So it had moments. It had moments I liked. It had a lot of moments that I liked. But in general, definitely only a 5 out of 10 for me. Mediocre in every way.
Yeah, it's a very.
I feel like you both would at least agree it's better than Lost World.
Yes. Lost World was garbage.
I can't really say because I've never played Lost World.
I played it a little bit. It just felt like a really awkward Mario Galaxy.
Yeah, they tried to do that with Sonic. The whole parkour thing was badly implemented. It's just bad. They made him slow. The game, the whole game is just okay, let's just make platforming as slow and tedious as possible. Let's make those stupidest and lamest bosses ever conceived in a Sonic game. It was just bad.
Every time I hear about Sonic Force, a lot of the complaints I hear about are some of the levels. I never heard anything about the parkour until today, but mostly it comes.
You mean Lost World? You said Forces.
Oh, sorry, sorry. Yeah, Lost World, how you call it. But most of the complaints I hear is mostly from the Zeddy. And
Zeddy were just why?
I've met a lot of
what, when, where, why.
There's a lot of people from other Sonic series who really seem to really love the concept of the Zeddys as a character type deal.
Really?
Zeddy's the concept, not the Zeddys that are in Lost World, but the Zeddys as a whole.
Nah, I don't like it at all.
I don't mind the Zeddy, but I will admit, out of all of them, there's really only one of them that I like, and honestly,
it was Xena, wasn't he, a little pervert?
Oh, hell no. Fuck Xena. I was all about that Zavik.
You mean the first boss?
Come on. No, Zavik's the big guy, the big horny
The big red one.
Oh, Discount Bowser.
No,
maybe that's the reason why
the Zeddy for me look like they're bad Power Ranger monsters.
Every series needs their Power Ranger ripoff.
I mean, that's literally
look at Zavik. Look at Zavik. You can literally see Zavik fighting the Megazord from Power Rangers. This is so bad. It's so bad. What are these things? Suddenly, we're in a world where we have anthropomorphic talking animals. True, we have humans. This is supposed to be Earth? ? But But suddenly now there's Play-Doh monsters. They look like they belong in a Power Rangers movie. Where the hell? What are these guys? Are they aliens? Are they interdimensional beings? Just Zeddy. What the fuck are Zeddy?
I don't know, but let's put them in the game.
And they're all awful. They're all terrible.
Speaking of Power Rangers, this is gonna go. I know this is one hell of a segue, but remember the last part of Unleashed where all the Gaia temples were forming? Someone made a
Let's
video.
become the
Yeah,
Light Gaia
the
temple.
the Light Guy Temple.
Someone made a
good.
video where it was that, but it was the Power Rangers theme. I thought it was pretty
Dun,
great.
dun, 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 dun.
Like the
Wait,
first,
wait,
like
wait.
the first Power Rangers theme.
Go Power Rangers.
Yes.
Mighty Chaos Power Rangers.
I hope that video's still up on YouTube. I need to dig that up later and put it in the caption.
I did not dislike Chip. He was a cute little side character. I'm
Chip was-
glad they don't bring him back in any way. I do appreciate that he
Chip
was
served
one
his
and done.
purpose, so
I
yeah.
just wish that Sonic.
But yeah,
had some
like
memoriam.
but just suddenly giant like Mayan temple mecha robot. Like, okay, all right.
I mean, we had
What?
giant. Mayan
It wasn't
water
a
god.
bad idea, but it was like, sure.
Here's
all
an
right.
idea. Here's a very Japanese idea. Let's make a giant robot out of this. Yeah.
Here's another idea. Let's make
And
a
not to
giant
mention,
water
not to
monster.
mention, he had the worst quick time event ever. Oh my god! Do you guys remember at the very end? You had to spam the button like
60 times.
60 times in like 10 seconds.
Oh,
it was
God.
ridiculous.
Honestly, that was my favorite part because I love games that just test your
I get it. Make it difficult. This is the final boss, but that was just like, no little kid is gonna accomplish this.
And
What are you talking about?
And you know the funny thing is, Sonic Unleashed was literally the one Sonic game in modern era that had the most spectacle in terms of a final boss.
That's true. I will give it that. The whole the thing where you were playing as Super Sonic and you were like flying around his big bubble shield that he had up in the beginning was a bit awkward, but cool in a way. But yes, spectacle-wise, it was pretty cool.
To be fair,
It's still a
to be
better
fair-
final boss fight than fucking Sonic Adventure 2, though.
how you call it?
True.
If anything, is a better boss fight than what Sonic Generations boss.
Oh god, Sonic Generations boss battle was awful.
I can't remember it because I played the game once when it came out and then never touched it again until I
Simple.
until
If
I
you
saw the
can't-
modding scene. Then I picked
If
it
you
up.
can't remember it, then it was that bad.
Yeah, it was
Because
pretty bad.
literally, it was literally an on-rail. It was not exciting. The theme itself was basically the same theme you've been hearing out throughout the entirety of the game when the time meter kept showing up in cutscene. There was no spectacle to it. It was just go straight, press button.
It was pretty bad. Yeah. Generations as a whole was amazing all up until the last stage and the last boss. Those were awful. Yeah, Time Meter was a real waste because they're trying to make a concept of a boss where you had to swap between the 3D and the 2D, from modern to classic Sonic. But man, the way they did it was just so bad.
It was so lackluster. And usually, whether a game in Sonic is good or bad, one thing that they usually keep as a constant is that the final boss had the rocking final boss theme song.
It didn't. It was boring.
It
just like-
wasn't.
Yeah.
Sonic Generation was the first Sonic game in my Amiga knowledge that had the weakest final boss theme ever. Hell, even Sonic 06's final boss theme was bumping.
Yeah. I'll give it that. Again, Generations is definitely my favorite modern Sonic game, but yeah, the final boss, weak sauce. Weak sauce is
And my favorite modern Sonic game is definitely Unleashed, just because I just love that game. I love the concept behind it.
I'm not gonna lie, I miss the quick time events. I actually really like those in Unleashed. Like
I
you
like
get
the good quick time events, not like the Sonic Forces QTE, which are
yeah, they were bad. But they were like they were like the worst thing in the world, but they were badly done.
yeah.
But I love the Unleashed ones because like, okay, I'm gonna go off this jump, and if I do this QTE right, I get a better pathway, and it feels good. He does more tricks. But if I'm, that felt really good. I also say the boss battles in general in Unleashed were actually pretty damn good. Even and I'd even agree to you what you said before. Like when it comes to Unleashed, they did something so well in a way that has yet to be reproduced again. And I feel like that's actually just with the 3-lane like running bosses.
Yeah.
The very first boss you fight in Unleashed, the egg beetle bot thing.
Yeah.
Egg Beetle.
That is great. that is a great boss. And there's a lot more to that boss than a lot of people even realize, I think. Because like you play it like you play a standard boss, and it's not like super hard and super challenging by any means. But you know, it's a cool spectacle. The track looks good. The boss looks good.
At that point,
But
it just becomes a challenge to like do it perfectly, which is an okay challenge.
But there's actually more mechanics to that boss that I think a lot of people even know about. You know, normally when you fight a boss in Sonic, it's like, okay, you do the 3-lane boss, you chase them down, right? You dodge the things they throw at you. You gradually catch up by boosting and collecting rings or what. And then you get close enough, you get the homing thing, you jump up and do a homing attack, right? That's how you hit the boss, right?
Yeah.
But there was actually more to that first boss than that. And I don't think a lot of people even know about this.
If I remember correctly, didn't it have like a ball mechanic that you had to hit the ball and just stagger it? Or am I thinking Sonic Rush?
A ball mechanic?
Either that or I'm thinking of the second boss.
Well, you might be on the right area. Let me explain. So basically, like that first boss, you'd boost up to it, you'd avoid the projectiles, you'd jump up, you do a homing attack, then you'd knock it over, right? Like he'd like go flailing, he'd like fall over. But one cool feature that I don't think a lot of people knew is if you had enough boost and you continue
could run
to
right
boost,
into him.
Yeah, you could run right into him.
And you just keep pushing him over and over until he finally staggers.
You nail him and you keep running along, and he'd like barrel roll and flail down the track because you just kept crashing into him. And it looked amazing. It looked so cool. And you would like continuously do damage to him if you can keep your boost going. And it was so neat. It wasn't just run, get close enough, jump, do a homing attack, rinse, repeat. It was run, jump, do a homing attack, knock him on his ass, and then boost into him, and just roll that fat fucker down the track. And it was so cool. It was such a cool spectacle.
If anything, one boss that I really did love in Sonic Unleashed was the Egg Dragoon boss. Oh my god.
Egg Dragoon was the best boss in that whole thing.
How you call it? Just every time, like every checkpoint, I guess that you could say, for that boss, and it just kept getting amped up. Some Sonic bashing in the cockpit and whatnot, right? To the point of ripping him out, to him breaking the floor out underneath you, literally falling into the planet's core as you're avoiding. That boss fight is a major spectacle.
Yeah. Like I said, I think Unleash is really the only time in recent like history that Sega has actually poured a decent budget into making a Sonic game. Because a lot of what's in Unleash is a good spectacle. Graphically and like engine-wise, it was done really well. Again, even if you don't necessarily like the Werehog stuff and playing the Werehog stages, they are actually done pretty well for what they are.
The controls are pretty tight. It's like there's very little difficulty with the controls when it comes to Werehog. It's like it does what it needs to do, you know?
Yeah. But,
the only thing about Werehog that I would say got really annoying is just it's the same boss theme every time. I mean the same battle theme every time. Everyone just loves when that jazz just hits them and just one like what now? Like what the fuck? What's bothering me now, you know? But
yeah, it got tedious. The Werehog was just tedious, music-wise, gameplay-wise. It got dull because levels took 15-20 minutes to clear, and it was just move on. Yeah, so yeah. Unleashed. Like I said, they went from 06 to Unleashed, and I think Unleashed really was Sega's like saving grace. Again, the Werehog thing kind of crippled it a little bit, I'm not gonna lie, but I really feel like they started something great with Unleashed, with the boost mechanics done well, the high spectacle. It wasn't
the level
like
designs.
Yeah, it was done well, like all of it. Even if you didn't like the Werehog, it was still done well. And they have yet to recreate the budget and the scale and the scope and like the quality that Unleashed had
one
to this
thing
game.
I want to add to Unleashed is the sense of adventure the game has throughout the entirety of the game, from hub world to in level. It really does encourage exploration, which
Sonic games don't really do
Look at
anymore.
the story. Look at the story of Sonic Adventure 1 and Sonic Adventure 2, and compare them to Unleashed. scale wise, story wise, you could quite literally call Sonic Unleashed Sonic Adventure 3. You
Yeah.
literally could. They just didn't call it Sonic Adventure 3, and that pissed everyone off.
It was
Like,
called
you-
Sonic World Adventure at the least in Japan, but it was definitely the right game to make into a proper adventure game. It had that same level of quality and spectacle and whatnot, and it really did emphasize adventure and whatnot, because these games really had you, as soon as you got all the upgrades and all that stuff, take time to look around the world. What shortcuts, what little bits and pieces can you find that you didn't find early on, whether it's moon medals or whatever that you want to call them nowadays, like red rings, all that stuff.
Yeah.
And it really incentivizes you, because when you find those collectibles, you find shortcuts that make the experience faster, better, etc., etc.
There was a lot to it. A lot of optional stuff that was still good. Like I said, my favorite stage I played over and over again was an optional stage. It wasn't even a main stage.
Yeah,
But I loved all of the modern, like the days, modern Boost Sonic stages game. I loved them all. But even still, like I played one that was just a small, short, optional one, probably the most, because it was just so much fun. Yeah, I don't know. I wasn't a huge fan of the gameplay of the Werehog. I think honestly, it might sound silly for me to say this, but quite literally, if they had put Knuckles in there instead of the Werehog, I'd probably feel 100% better about it.
yeah.
That's
what
like
a
the
lot of
that's like
people
the
say.
one opinion, yeah, that everyone says that I've heard over
Like
and
if
over.
it was Knuckles, then it would make more sense.
But
I mean,
again,
to be
the
fair-
whole like werewolf stretchy rubber fist thing with Sonic was just so weird, and
But you gotta
Whatever.
admit, his cleats were some of the best shoe he's ever got.
that's just giant spiky cleat shoes.
I want him to step on my crotch with this.
Okay, you need to stop
Wow.
that, sir.
Wow.
You keep that for the other werehogs that you have in your life, but not for this one.
I only have one where I'll get Jinx.
Listen, shut up.
So yeah, anyway, so moving on. But yeah, Unleashed had the makings of greatness. That's all I'm going to say. Unleashed definitely had the makings of greatness.
I would say
Um,
it's like one of the, as far as like the modern era goes, it's the best game for like modern 3D games. If we don't include Adventure, which,
Generation.
I don't know. I don't know why I don't like Generations. I don't have a good reason for not liking Generations. I really don't. It's
Neither
just,
do I.
Generations just has a pretty mediocre, like lackluster story, but like gameplay wise, it's great.
like I
For
enjoy
me,
I enjoy Generations
is
better
good.
on a 3DS
Last one.
actually. To be fair,
for me, how you call it, I think my spectacle for Generation ended right after the Death Egg Robot, because I feel like seeing all those classic stages imagined in 3D the way they were the first time like that really held a lot of spectacle for the early game. But then getting into like the Dreamcast era, modern era, it's more or less the same things we've already seen. How you call it? City Escape, Crisis City, Planet Wisp, Begonia. You know, the only real stage that has some real different and pizzazz to it was Seaside Hill, since we haven't seen that level since.
I mean, it is a lot of the same. Like you see, like the same assets essentially, like kind of just reused. The stages themselves are not like a 1-to-1 by any means, but I do understand what you're saying. It kind of feels like, oh, I played this stage before in recent history. I will say, like Spagonia, the rooftop run in Generations is probably my favorite stage because it is just so damn fun. But yeah, I get what you mean. But yeah, the classic stages, like Chemical Plant and Sky Sanctuary, ooh, loved it.
Especially Sky Sanctuary, my god, that level was absolutely beautiful in 3D.
Yeah, it looked really good.
And then again, like I said, Seaside Hill, since that was a stage we haven't seen since Sonic Heroes and whatnot, seeing how they did that stage was gorgeous in itself. But then seeing the other stages, which are some of the stages that we've already seen countless times before and whatnot, but very little difference to them for the most part. Like, for example, Spagonia and Planet Wisp, we just had those stages 2 games ago,
Yeah.
It's like, if they had different stages for that era, like, for example, instead of Spagonia, why not Adabat? Or instead of Planet Wisp, why not Aquarium Park? Or the one where you're in space with all the the ships and whatnot. You're running along that holographic track around all those amusement.
That like Galactic Parade or something like that.
Yeah, like why not one of those stages and whatnot? Why does it have to be like one of these stages that like like
they wanted, I don't know, they wanted to cover a lot of bases for a lot of different games, but you're right.
Yeah.
They could have definitely picked some more interesting stages that weren't like, oh, I just played this stage like a year ago.
Yeah, like I could understand City Escape and one since out of all the stages in Sonic's history, City Escape was the one stage everybody knows and loves for perspective reasons. Understandably so and whatnot. It's the first stage of Sonic Adventure 2. It was a big spectacle for an introduction stage. I get it. And the music as well is iconic for what it is because, well, that's the first time you actually really hear a vocal track in a Sonic game for the first stage. But in terms of variety for the later stages down the especially for modern era, they could have chosen other stages that don't get the same amount of time. Like for Crisis City, why don't we get Kingdom Valley, for example? Since Kingdom Valley was the first stage that they revealed when Sonic 06 was coming out, that was the big spectacle level,
I mean, Crisis City was a pretty big spectacle. The whole like city on fire, lava and fire tornadoes and things like that.
That's true. It just made
whatever. It is what it is, I guess. But I still enjoyed playing all of them. There's still all those stages, except for Planet Wisp. Like the first third of that stage is fun, but once it gets to like the whole tower climb platforming, it is just so tedious. It's boring and rocket, yeah. Horrible.
Rocket.
But like the first third is actually done well. I like the first third of that stage. It's good looking, the colors, it flows well, and it's challenging enough. But you get to that climb, and it's like, kill me now.
Yeah, like I said, I've never really played something. What I did play from the early game, I enjoyed it, and then it kind of fell off on City Escape and what was it? What was that stage called in Sonic Adventure 1 when you're going down this the skyscraper? I keep forgetting. I always want to call it Radical Highway, but I know
it is Radical. No, that is Radical Highway.
Uh-huh. It is? Okay. I was always thinking Radical Highway was the Sonic Adventure 2 level where you play as Shadow.
No, that's
something Highway.
Yeah, Radical Highway.
It's a highway.
No, it's also Radical.
Is it?
Yeah. Radical Highway is Shadow. It's like, hold on, let me go look it up.
But yeah. I feel like we should probably maybe jump to a different topic. How much time do we have?
So we're at. Oh, we're over the 2 hour thing. We can do like maybe like 20-30 minutes and then call it quits. So let's try and. Okay, so let's segue into the next topic, which is. I guess let's do a compare and contrast between. So we talked about Sonic, so let's compare it to like the non-Sonic games, aka Klonoa and Freedom Planet.
I unfortunately am not going to be able to chime in on this because I have not played any of those.
Yeah,
likewise. I played a little bit of Freedom Planet, not too much, but Klonoa has always been a game that I've wanted to play. I never got the opportunity to play it, unfortunately.
Play Klonoa 2, Lieutenant. The one on PS2. I can't fucking say it. Lieutenant. Fuck English. Something's Veil.
Go play that one.
You're sitting in bed.
Lunata's Veil, I think it's called. It was the 3D one.
If I could find a copy somewhere, then I'll definitely.
Just emulate it, Forehead.
I'm lazy.
Fucking I'm lazy.
Who knows? I might be able to find a affordable copy in one of these game stores around where I am in New York, because they always sell games like that.
The Game Boy games are okay if you like puzzle games.
I don't mind that, but definitely those are two games that I would, especially more so Klonoa, because I did want to play the Wii re-release of the first game when it was announced, but unfortunately I had to sell off my Wii during that time frame, which is one of the reasons why I never got to play Colors, because when Colors came out, I had to get rid of my Wii.
Freedom Planet's good if you could ignore the one problem I have with it.
The fact that you suck at Carol?
I never played as Carol. No, I don't suck at the game. The problem I have with it is just every time, because I play as Lilac, every time she jumps, I hear Cyclone. Like she has to say her stupid name and attack every time I jump. And I was like, please. And there's no option to disable the voices.
Yeah, they
Which
should always
sucks.
have like a diminishing return and that kind of thing. They don't just spam the same
Which
sound
sucks
clip over and
because
over again.
the
It's like
gameplay's
playing
nice, the music's nice. It's like Freedom Planet is a great game.
It's a good spectacle. You know, actually, whenever I look at Freedom Planet, it reminds me of this other game on PC called Noi to Love Revolution. It has the same general aesthetics as Freedom Planet, but then again, it's from that's a game from the era when Cave Story became the big thing back then and whatnot, with all these indie developers coming out with these unique games with awesome mechanics and stuff like that.
Freedom Planet's getting a sequel pretty soon, actually. Now that I remember,
How long has that sequel been in development now?
at least 2 years from what I don't know. It's been a couple years. It's been a while. But I don't like the art style it's going with. Because, okay, I get it's trying to not be Sonic. I get that. But it's like
What?
it's like anime furry, from what I can
What?
tell.
You don't like Tyson Town's art style for this game?
Wait, Tyson's working on it?
Yeah, Tyson Town, I believe his name is on.
I don't know
yeah,
who that is.
I'll get him on DA. He's actually one of my favorite artists on DA and whatnot. I love the way he does stuff.
Well, I'm not saying
Oh.
it's a bad art style. It's just I hate when you just go from like an art style one game and then the next game it's like completely different.
Yeah,
So
but then
it's-
again, that's pretty much the norm for a lot of games, especially when after the first game, the second game is where they really, decide on where they want to take the game the next direction. Sometimes it takes them to the third game if there is a third game, but usually the second game is where they figure themselves out in terms of where they want to go, because Sonic Freedom Planet was definitely at first was a Sonic fan game or something like that. It was very more Sonic than anything else than his own thing, but now it's really becoming its own thing now. Also, here's that artist I was talking about. I just put in the link in on the Twitch chat.
Just okay, let's see. But I don't know, like, cause I played deep into Freedom Planet, so I haven't finished it because I'm really slow with it. But it's honestly, in a lot of places I would prefer it more than Sonic. Honestly, as far as like gameplay goes,
Mm-hmm.
and it actually has a
Um,
story, which let's be honest, like most of the games in Sonic games, the story just is terrible, and most times there's not story.
It's like take like Sonic Mania for example. It has a story, but it says so much without saying a single word. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, they do a good job.
Meanwhile,
But like when you have games that have too much dialogue, like for example Sonic 06, it's like, yeah, shut up.
yeah,
Ooh.
It's like I get where they're going, but too much is too much. Dial it down some.
yeah. Meanwhile, like Freedom Planet, you have like maybe like 2-3 minutes of like a story, but you can scroll through it.
Mm-hmm.
But there's not too much story where you're not to the point where you're not overburdened. But then again, it also has like it feels like one of every like teenager anime type deal where it's like kind of like kind-hearted, but then it kind of steps up in like darkness a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Each their own. People like different things. Some people like the just go play the game like Mania. Some people like having some story to scroll through.
Yeah. There's always a game for somebody out there.
Let's see.
But I would say like Freedom Planet's worth you guys picking up if you ever have the funds for it. It's like not even $20 on Switch right now, I think.
I think I have it on Steam actually, so I could just buy
Yeah.
that in whenever.
Yeah, I'd probably get it on Steam if I ever bought it.
I would say one of the things I do like about what Freedom Planet has done, a lot of my favorite artists has been attached to the project actually. I
Oh,
remember some of the profile art for the first game, which actually was done by Arnold.
Oh
71.
yeah. Oh yeah. I
Um,
recognized the art when I got some of the cards on Steam. Actually, I was like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
It looks
And
like
then
his freaking like animated icon commissions that he does that he charges a lot
Yeah.
for.
They're not that expensive actually. I've gotten 2 of them so far, and they're not that expensive.
I got 2 of them too. Yeah,
And then for Freedom Planet 2, there was this Tyson Town, which I linked in the Twitch chat, and the other one I'm pretty sure everyone has seen from time to time is Gashi Gashi from Twitter or wherever you know him from. Um, and, both artists, all these artists in general, how you call it, they all just have a great style, and I love seeing some of my favorite artists being attached to these projects and what just to show that, hey, any one of us, be it big or small, has an opportunity to be part of something like this and have, our work just immortalized in these projects to be loved or hated, give or take,
yeah. So
Yeah.
if you're doing art right now and you're really enjoying it, keep listening. You don't know where it'll end up.
I mean, look at Tyson Hesse. He's the best example I could think of. How he was doing basically Sonic's shit posts on
And
YouTube and whatnot.
and now
Hi-
he's doing animations for the racing game.
What didn't he was the reason behind Batface the Rose, original the character,
Yeah, we talked
Arms
about
the
that
Fox.
last time actually.
Nipples the
Yeah.
enchilada.
Nipples the enchilada, yeah.
Yeah, nipples the enchilada.
Like he went from doing that and now look at him. Animations for Sega, Sonic Mania, Sonic
He's pretty
Overdrive.
much the artist that saved Sonic.
Pretty
There's-
much.
There's no dancing around that fact. He's pretty much the artist, the fan artist, who just happened to save
The
Sonic.
shit poster who became the savior.
Yeah, exactly.
He,
You start with
he
shit-
was the villain long enough to be the hero.
I mean, I wouldn't even say the boxer hockey thing he did was really a shitpost.
Oh my
It
god.
was a spoof. It was a spoof. It was
Boxer
funny
hockey.
as hell. Yeah, that's what it was from. Boxer hockey.
That comic, I remember finding it on DVD and I fell in love with it, and I still crack up to the final with that cat saying, I'm very much starving.
Yeah, he went from just kind of like being a fan artist making joke comics to like, oh hey, I'm working for Sega and I'm like saving the franchise with my ability, my talent, my art.
As well as being married to the person behind Skullgirl.
I didn't know that. That's cool.
Yeah. And then
So-
and then they're working on Indivisible, which is another game that I'm looking forward to.
Anything else we need to cover for the podcast?
Let's see. So we talked about Freedom Planet. We can close out. So I'm trying something new as a podcast. So I want to make an advertisement or a call out to all like artisan balls or anybody has a community project. So let's advertise your guys' art. I know both of you do commission work.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Rev, why don't you talk about what you do as far as commission work, and if you want, put your link inside of the Twitch chat.
Am I allowed to talk about what I do as commission work on the podcast?
I mean,
Oh,
we're not
yeah.
showing the images, so
Yeah, I know, yeah.
we're not violent to us. So.
Well, yeah, obviously, I do any kind of commission work. Honestly, the people who commission me the most, honestly, it just happens to be certain things, usually of a not safe for work nature. But I'm open for anything, regardless. But yeah, it's kind of what I do. That's how I pay my bills. Is just do commission work for people. They come to me during my streams. Just throw me work and see what I can make for them. If anyone's watching that doesn't know about me already, I've got my page on FA, just username Rav, R-A-V. Ink Bunny, I have one of those as well. The name on there is Ravros, R-A-V-R-O-U-S. I do have a Twitter. I think my Twitter is Ravros, I believe. Yeah, it's Ravros at Twitter, so if you use that, you're welcome to follow me there too. I'm not super active on Twitter, but I try to be more than I have been. I'm just like progressively being more and more active on it. But yeah, I don't know. There's not really much I can explain about my commissions. People who commission me know what I do for them, so whatever. But yeah, I'm down for drawing usually whatever.
He draws a lot of boobs.
And
I
they're
do.
good quality too.
And it's against my will. Let that be known. That people
Bullshit.
tell me to draw. People pay me to draw this. This is not what I choose to draw. I mean, I do draw it from time to time, of course. But like, yeah, I would relish I would relish the like the ability to draw more. Just like, oh, I'm gonna draw some cool Sonic artwork. I'm gonna draw some anime-ish artwork or something. But
Mhm.
yeah, seems like the people who want to commission me all kind of come for the same thing.
You know, once you draw it once and you get the audience, they all want
Yeah.
some.
Yeah, exactly. But it's still, hey, I can't complain about that. Really, it keeps my life running. It pays the bills, feeds me. So I can't. Beggars can't be choosers, I guess.
Mm.
And Zeno, go ahead and drop plug yourself in.
In most sites, most every site, I go by the same name. Mine, I'm mostly active on both Twitter and DeviantArt, since that was my original base of operations for the last almost 13 years now, give or take total. But on Twitter, how you call it, I'm pretty active, and I do a lot more retweeting and shit posting than anything else. But I do art from time to time, and you know, when it comes to art motivation and stuff like that, it's always a hassle for me. But when I do try to give the best quality that I can, even on DA, how you call it, I do run some Sonic oriented groups and whatnot for, you know, for everyone to share their artwork of all kinds and whatnot, under rules, of course. And like I said, most every other site I go by the same names that'll State of Mind, so you'll find that name, Ink Bunny for Affinity, and other art sites that pretty much are inactive. But my main base of operations would be Twitter and DeviantArt. And as for what I do, all in all, I always go back to Sonic art. I've always enjoyed drawing fan characters, original characters, but I do dabble in original content as well, specifically of the monster variety. But I will do, you know, your general humans, furries if I can. But I'm pretty much like Rav. I'm open to most anything if I can do it and whatnot. I'll tell anyone what I can and can't do. And, you know, sometimes people will put their best, their faith into me, and I try to give them the best product that I can. Axel can attest to that.
He has done a very good job with Days and Jinx, I will say.
But all in all, I just like to have fun with my art, and if I find the idea, whatever, enjoyable, I'll go all out for it. Even so much so as to going ahead and helping other people with like body types, lining their sketches, their colors, or stuff like that. Like, I'm always out to help anybody who needs help and whatnot, or just for the fun of it. Just do a random collab with anybody, you know?
I've been kind of doing that myself lately. Recently, I've been offering. This is again, if you only value my opinion, this only really means anything to you. But I've been offering like my critiques towards people's like original characters.
Mm-hmm.
Just mostly just for fun. I'm very friendly. I'm just trying to be helpful. I recently helped out a person, basically redesign their OC, and they seem to really be taking what I gave them to heart, and they basically just kind of revamped the whole character, and I think it looks a lot better now. But yeah, it's been kind of fun. Just like you get people. I like designing things. That's actually one thing I'm really passionate about when I do my artwork is designing. So like, yeah, creating characters or like redesigning a character is actually a lot of fun for me, and I've been trying to do that more often as of late. So hopefully that'll kind of catch on.
I've been seeing a lot of people like really enjoying like redesign commissions as of lately.
Yeah, it's fun trying to give me your take on a character that someone gives you, see how much different you can make them appear, you know? Because sometimes, you know, how you got, and we're all we all have red hands when it comes to this, but you fan characters and whatnot, you know, they're not always the best design first time, first go and whatnot, you know? They're over cluttered, they're usually a mess and whatnot. Some people actually get it right the first time, but you know, just seeing how you could change one character into what you see them as and whatnot, and who knows, maybe they might even use that design either completely or in some ways to benefit their characters going forward. I know that whenever I get commissions of my character and whatnot, I love seeing artist interpretations of how they handle certain details and whatnot. And if I love the detail enough, I actually implement it into their design later on, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, as a couple, I usually when talk to people about like redesigning or like critiquing like characters, I usually have a couple like simple rules that I tell people all the time. And again, whenever I say these, I'm like, don't take it too seriously. Just take it. I'm just being fun. But like, when it comes to Sonic characters, one, don't put them in like human clothing. Don't put them in like jeans and like Converse or something like that. You need to have a unique character design. That, more of the Mobian motif. Which some people might not get what that is, but there's so much art out there. There's so much art out there by amazing artists that you can get an idea.
Yeah.
One that nobody listens to that drives me crazy: fingerless gloves. Oh my god, what is wrong with people in fingerless gloves? Stop it. They're not stylish. No canon character has fingerless gloves for a reason. Don't ever put wings on a character that's an animal species that doesn't have wings. Don't ever do it.
Listen,
Bad.
stop talking shit about my Angel OC. I'll fucking beat you up.
You're Angel OC, but
I don't have an Angel OC. I'm just being funny.
but I always just kind of like we always jokingly talk about those kind of like silly stereotype things, and again, if people like to have that, I'm not gonna tell them you're doing it wrong or you've got to change it, otherwise I don't like it.
Yeah, it's just like having fun. Just have fun with it.
I think I only have like one character is like fingerless gloves, but I don't know. I did it because of
so many people. I don't understand. I don't understand where it started. I don't get who started, because there's literally no character in any Sonic game ever that has fingerless gloves. But somehow, like 90% of all OCs have fingerless gloves. I don't understand. They're not good looking. Stop.
If anything, when it comes
this
to
is not the 80s.
if anything, when it comes to glove, I either draw gloves or they're gloveless. It's just bare hand or claw or whatever.
I would prefer that. If somebody draws no gloves, I would prefer that over fingerless gloves any day. Any day. But again, it's just something we all laugh about a lot, and don't take it too seriously.
Yeah.
But yeah, just I like, again, I've been trying to help people with some of their characters. People have come to me with their fan characters. Hey, can you give me some, some critiquing, and I try and give it to them. Like, oh, here's what you can improve, or here's what I think you can do with this, or that kind of thing. And I don't know. Like I said, it's fun for me because I like designing stuff. So it motivates me. It inspires me and motivates me when I can like redesign or help somebody like make something new out of something.
Yeah. And one of my favorite things to do is like study other people's art and how they, how they do like their body types and whatnot. I feel like it's the best way to always learn how to body type by redlining someone else's ways of doing it, just to get a general idea.
Yeah, I tell people that all the time. Trace.
Yeah,
No, it's one of the weirdest things when it comes to doing artwork. Like, you want to get better? Guess what? Trace.
Yeah.
Trace something. Do not post it as your own artwork. Do not do that. But if you want to learn, trace. It is such a great way to learn. It is such an amazing tool that people, it's tracing, it's art theft. No, you're just practicing.
Like, that's how I learned. I remember growing up, just going to the local whatever general store, getting the tracing paper, stuff like that.
That's actually when I was 4 years old. That's kind of how I started too. I was literally placing like typing paper over a Sonic comic, and I would trace it. I remember doing that when I was 4 years old. But yeah, tracing is such an amazing tool. Again, don't be scared to do it, just to learn like body shapes, proportions, those kind of things. You will learn so much. Like, if you want to know how to draw Sonic, if you want to draw Sonic really damn well, go find a picture of a 3D render of Sonic, an official 3D render of Sonic. Put it on your drawing program, make a layer, trace it. And you will learn so much from just doing that. It's amazing.
Yeah. As long as you don't, claim it as your own thing and whatnot.
Do not claim it as your own. Do not. It is practice only. Do not trace anything that somebody else has done and claim it as your own artwork and try and post.
Or play it off and whatnot. Like, I didn't know that so and so. Like, a lot of people like to play it off.
Well, the internet's matured well enough to know what art theft is. So don't be that guy.
And believe me, there's still people who are that guy.
Yeah.
But then again, like you said, it's the internet. Anything can happen on the internet. There's so many different walks of life on the internet that somebody will surprise you, even though common sense is, a thing.
You'd like to think that, but often enough people disappoint you when it comes to common sense.
Oh, without a doubt.
Uh, Final words. We
Oh,
putting up
there's one more thing I gotta do. This will take very shortly. So we're gonna make one shout out to any community projects in the works. And today's community project is actually gonna be Paradise Rocks comics. Actually, if Paradise is okay with me posting her little comic website page. Paradise,
Too
is
late.
that okay? I actually haven't posted it yet. She posted in the server herself earlier, last week, I think.
I believe I saw that actually.
Yeah. I did tell them I would make a shout out, so this is me keeping my promise.
I always feel envious of people who can actually put the time and effort to make comics. Oh my god, making a comic.
It's
so
such
much
a
work.
process.
It's such a big, long, tedious project. I can't do it.
Yeah, I've tried doing comics several times, but I find just working in such small constraint areas of comic panels just limits me. I love my big canvases just to fit as much as I
Yeah.
can and just build on top of it. Just putting everything in such a small area and whatnot just kind of just ruins my flow. I get mixed up with perspectives and all that stuff, and oh god,
You should probably try, if you make a comic panel, like don't like draw out a bunch of panels and then just try and fill each panel inside of them. Just draw in an individual picture. And
yeah.
then take that picture and then slap it on the comic and then adjust the panel where need be. That'd
Yeah.
probably make it easier for you.
That's pretty much what I try to do. Like if I ever do a comic, I like take one canvas, make it a thing, and then if I want to tell a story with it, I'll put it alongside other pieces that flow with it, and fix it up and make it more comic like in that
Yeah.
way.
Yeah. Alright, so what I posted in Twitch chat is Paradise Rocks' comic, which, from what I understand, is called 25 Years Later? Let me open up the thing again to make sure.
Immediate remembering Archie Sonic comic.
Paradise
When I
Rock
think-
20 Legacy is 25 years later. From what I gather, it's like... Actually, Paradise Rock, you could probably explain this better. So what is your comic about? Type it as quick as you can. We're gonna close in about 5 minutes. From what I gather, it's like kids of like certain fan characters, but years later? At least that's what I'm getting from it.
When I think of 25 years later, I just relapse back to regular show. Oh god, I missed that show.
I haven't seen a regular show.
It's so good.
Okay, so so I got the general idea. So they're not exactly like, the popular fan character everybody knows, but they're like, I guess they're kids from in a later generation, the next generation of those characters. So it's
Kind of like Descendants, Disney Descendants and whatnot, where it's like the
An
kids
OC
of
of an
the,
OC.
yeah, basically.
OCception. Yeah, it's not this original character. We gotta take it a step further.
so so that's basically what she's basing it around, and it's a very interesting concept.
Cool.
I mean, looking at some of the pictures here right now on the server, I'm just seeing, kids of very well-known characters like Venus or like Momoko and other characters like that and whatnot. It's like
Yeah.
it's like seeing their rendition of what their life would be like if later on in life. It's an interesting concept. It's something that I used to like to do when I was a young artist as well. So I feel it's like very nostalgic. I love the idea behind it.
Mitchie
Yeah.
fucking pointed her out to me like about a year or two ago, and she says she really liked the concept of Clarity the Hedgehog.
It'd be a lot of fun to do like a comic project, but I feel like the only way I'd possibly be able to like manage it is that I have to do like a collaboration with other artists.
Yeah.
I could not do the whole thing. I would go so brain dead so fast. I could do like the penciling, like sketch out penciling and such, but I would definitely probably want someone to like maybe ink it and color it.
Yeah.
That could be
man.
a project you like bring up into the other server and see who'd be game.
Yeah, maybe. Gotta like write even like a short story. Just doing a short little fun story. Doesn't have to have like a longevity to it, but
Yeah, just a simple
Again,
collab project.
keep it up, Paradise. I definitely again envious of people who have the patience and the willpower to like do projects like that on their own. It's
She's
pretty
been,
amazing.
I think she's been at it. She said like 4 or 5 years, somewhere around there.
Well, I know how that feels.
So good on Paradise for actually starting a project and sticking with it after a couple of years.
Yeah,
And the more you do it, the easier it gets, and the better you are. So
without
Keep
a
it up.
doubt.
Paradise has a lot of respect for me for keeping that project up that long, honestly. Like, I'm surprised I'm still keeping my podcast project up after a solid month. It'll probably die in like 5 months.
I've been kind of doing my own little podcasty thing, sort of lately. I call it the Rav Rant because I just talk about generic whatever. But people often know me pretty well for my ranting. I will go on ranting tangents at the drop of a hat.
Your
just 'cause that's how I am.
last rant, you went on a fucking long tangent about, like, I think MOBAs or some shit.
Maybe? Or did I? I don't know. I've probably
You went
spoken
off
about
into the
those.
streamer channel in the one server one time, and I had your stream up while I was playing Overwatch, and you were going on for like a good hour.
Sounds like me. Yeah, that's something I don't know. I don't have any particular time I do it. I just like, oh, I feel like doing one of these like social streams today, and then I'll just hop on the old stream, put the webcam on, and just talk for a couple hours. And that's something I'll probably be doing more of.
Alright.
All right.
So,
Anything else?
nope, that's it. So, thanks for joining, everybody. Rav, thanks for stopping by. Zeno, thanks for joining the team.
Yep.
Not a problem.
Yeah, it was fun. If you ever want to have me back to talk more about stuff or have me rant, I'm.
Oh, totally. There's a bunch of podcast guests that are gonna make a return, so you can be one of those as well.
Cool.
Alright, so we'll be back next week. I don't know who we have. It might be one of my Highlander friends. It might be Mel. We'll see. We'll be back probably next weekend. Our recording sessions should be like every weekend. Everybody take care, make good choices. I will see you all around in the Discord servers. We will see you guys next time. Have a good one, and thank you for stopping by. And thank you for the follows today.
Yep.
No
Bye bye,
problem.
everybody.
Bye bye.
Have a good night.